Chapter 985, News of MOU. Chapter 985, News of MOU. There are really still heroes in this world? That Golden Core State Level 8 forgot about his situation and looked in a daze at the sword ray. He shivered at the sight of such a quick sword ray. Insolent! The Golden Core State Level 9 sneered and was about to release his white ring again, but he felt his cultivation essence slow down. He couldn't completely activate his white ring. What was going on? The Golden Core State Level 9 just wanted to run, and immediately realized that his cultivation essence had been bound. He was shaken and broke out in a cold sweat. He knew the consequence of this too well. If the second strike arrived before he broke free, he would be dead for sure. He couldn't underestimate this Golden Core State Level 6 anymore. He burned 3 mouthfuls of essence blood and barely broke free. This Golden Core State was definitely not only Level 5, the Golden Core State Level 9 realized, and he turned to run. If he kept fighting with EMO, he might have had a chance to run, but as soon as he ran, that sliver of a chance was gone. The second strike swept over the heavens at him. He could barely release the ring to block it, and was encapsulated by the sword rays. The storage ring fell into EMO's hand, who then looked back at the dumbfounded Golden Core State Level 8. The Golden Core State Level 8's eyes were wide open. From such a distance, EMO finished off a Golden Core State Level 9 with 2 strikes. Even though the Golden Core State Level 9 already fought with him, he shouldn't have been killed in 2 strikes. This was too absurd. Was EMO Golden Core State Peak Stage? But even Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivators shouldn't be able to do that. In reality, the Golden Core State Level 9 was too terrified of EMO fighting with a cultivator that could bind his cultivation essence, was like suicide. If he didn't feel fear and run away immediately after breaking free, EMO would need to spend some time fighting before he could beat him. If EMO didn't lay down any formations during the meantime, he could even run away. But he was too scared of death and lost the will to fight after the first strike. "You're a Golden Core State Peak Stage Qianbei?" The Golden Core State Level 8 was dazed for a long time before blurting out. EMO smiled and asked, "Where is this? How far are we from Peihai City?" The Golden Core State Level 8 just realized that he had been saved and bowed to EMO and said, "Wanbei Li Qishan, thank you for saving me Qianbei. Peihai City isn't far from here. 10,000 kilometers east lies the Peiqi Island. The shameless Ao Qing Merchant Association conspired with spirit beasts and tricked Golden Core State cultivators to go out and die. I must expose this Qianbei. I'll be leaving first. After I do this, I will come and thank Qianbei." EMO nodded. Li Qishan didn't know if he would live or die, that's why he said he would come back and thank him later. EMO quite approved of this Li Qishan. He saw that Li Qishan was about to leave and stopped him. He took out the white ring and gave it to him. "This middle-grade spirit artifact is not bad, it's yours. If you don't have a place to go, you can come find me in Peihai City. I'm EMO, I'm staying at MOU. Okay." Li Qishan didn't reject and disappeared after taking the ring. He had been in the deep sea for a while but hadn't heard of MOU. He thought it was just a small place. EMO headed towards Peiqi Island. If he got there, he would know which direction to go. EMO crossed 10,000 kilometers quickly. The island was densely populated, making EMO feel that this was no island but an island city. EMO wanted to get some news about Peihai City and go back there through the teleportation formation. As soon as he got here, he heard the exciting news that South Peace State, North Far State, and East Black State were setting up intercontinental teleportation formations. He was planning to get a huge cultivation artifact flying ship after reaching Hollow Spirit State and taking everyone to South Peace State, but for now, this was heavenly news. EMO wasn't even planning to go into that small bar, but upon hearing this news, he walked in. The few Foundation Establishment State cultivators who had been talking didn't even realize that EMO came here due to overhearing their conversation. EMO knew that if he showed his Golden Core State power, these Golden Core State cultivators would be more vigilant, so he showed his power to be Foundation Establishment State Level 5. "Dao friends, I'm EMO. I've been cultivating in the deep sea. I just heard you guys talking about the teleportation formation, is it true? Yemo walked over and saluted with his fists. There were 3 cultivators at the table, one black-clothed man at Foundation Establishment State Level 9, an honest-looking youth to his right who was Foundation Establishment State Level 7, and a female cultivator who was Curvaceous and Golden Core State Level 8. Yemo's sudden appearance surprised them, but when they saw that Yemo was only Foundation Establishment State Level 5, they didn't feel so vigilant. The female cultivator smiled sweetly. Little brother, have a seat. What we said is true. You haven't been back to Peachy Island, is that why you haven't heard about it? Yemo nodded in shame. Yes, I just came back from an adventure. I was very shocked at this news. Sa, even if we want to go out for adventure, it would be hard. The nearby islands have been swept clean by spirit beasts. There are so many cultivators on this island because they have nowhere to go now. Some Golden Core State Qianbais were organizing squads to go into the deep sea, but those people haven't been back since. After all, it takes longer to go into deep sea. We're too weak to go there, the honest-looking youth said, sighing. The black-clothed cultivator said, I heard some Golden Core States hired Ao Qing Merchant Association's ship to go into the deep sea. I wonder if they have succeeded. Yemo wasn't here to discuss this, he smiled and said, I also heard that these Golden Core State cultivators were organized by the Ao Qing Merchant Association, but they're not out there to cast away spirit beasts. The Merchant Association organized them to deal with spirit beasts. Their goal is to trick them to join them and then sell them to the spirit beasts. Before Yemo could finish, that female cultivator quickly stopped Yemo and looked around carefully. Little brother, do you not want to live? How dare you say these sorts of things? There are people from Ao Qing Merchant Association everywhere. If they hear you, you will die for sure, and we will also be involved. Yemo knew this was true and smiled. Okay, let's not discuss this. How far is that North Far State teleportation formation? The female cultivator quickly said. It's located in Peihai City. I heard a few Truth Realization State cultivators came to set it up, and there are more Disaster Transformation State cultivators. By the way, have you heard of MOU? They're the biggest merchant association in Peihai City because it's said that they're closely related to a Disaster Transformation State formation master who came. Yemo was shocked. He knew everyone who was in MOU, since when were they connected to a Disaster Transformation State cultivator? How come he didn't know? Yemo immediately said, I know MOU, but they're a new merchant association. How can they be associated with a Disaster Transformation State formation master? The female cultivator got more into the conversation. Everyone from MOU are business geniuses, and in just 2 months, they became the #1 merchant association. But because of this, they offended the previous largest merchant association, Yangtze Merchant Association. Yemo began to worry. Yangtze Merchant Association wasn't an entity that MOU could mess with. Chapter 986 Rich Second Generation Yemo. Chapter 986 Rich Second Generation Yemo. The female cultivator didn't notice Yemo's expression and said to herself, It's said that at the time, the manager of Yanhai Merchant Association requested city management to take the land back, but for some reason, the person responsible for this, Manager Wang, was in solitary cultivation. It's said he was breaking through to nascent soul state. Meanwhile, the Yanhai Merchant Association have always been domineering, so since the city management didn't do anything, they sent 2 nascent soul state cultivators up there themselves. 2 nascent soul state cultivators, and Liu Qian wouldn't be able to stop them. Yemo had made up his mind that when he got back, he was going to concoct some nascent soul state cultivator pills no matter what, so Liu Qian could reach hollow spirit state earlier. But Yemo wasn't too worried. After all, with the formation he set up, 2 nascent soul state cultivators were nowhere near enough. But what they didn't expect was that the Disaster Transformation State formation master was staying as a guest at MOU, and when the Disaster Transformation State Qianbei knew that they came to look for trouble, he destroyed their nascent souls on the spot and threw them out. Yemo could finally breathe easy now. He didn't know how that Disaster Transformation State Qianbei was related to MOU, but he felt it had something to do with the formation he set up. The youth also shook his head and said, when those people realized that there was a disaster transformation state Qianbei supporting MOU, the owner of Yanhai Merchant Association brought gifts to apologize instead of getting revenge. That black-clothed cultivator said, don't underestimate them, even Aoqing Merchant Association aren't as big as them. The disaster transformation state Qianbei is from the South Peace State. He won't be staying in Peihai City forever. When the disaster transformation state Qianbei leaves, MOU will still face danger. Even if they aren't attacked overtly, subtle means can still be used against them. Yemo heard this and agreed strongly. It was not plausible to rely on a disaster transformation state cultivator from South Peace State for support. By the way, Sister Tian, how can that disaster transformation state cultivator be related to MOU? That youth asked something Yemo long wanted to know. The female cultivator shook her head. That I don't know, but I'm sure that Manager Wang knows, and that's why he used the excuse to avoid seeing the Yanhai Merchant Association. I heard that every time the disaster transformation state Qianbei came to MOU, he would walk around MOU. Yemo had understood by now that the disaster transformation state Qianbei liked his formation means and wanted to discuss them with him, but he was in the deep sea and hadn't been back for months. Yemo was relieved that a disaster transformation state Qianbei had protected MOU, but he didn't think MOU would attract the enmity of Yanhai Merchant Association in such a short time. It seemed they had fully utilized their business minds, but they thought of the world too naively. This wasn't Ninghai. If he was in Peihai, he would prefer to stay more low-key. MOU can be built beautifully, but they shouldn't be pressuring others business-wise, at least not now. But Yemo was no timid person. Since he already offended others, he might as well eliminate the threat. If he couldn't kill the danger, then he would retreat. Yemo got what he wanted and had no intentions of staying longer. He got up and saluted with his fists. Thanks for telling me the latest news of Peihai City. Before Yemo finished, the female cultivator said, Little brother, you're not yet in the Golden Core state. You can't keep talking about the Aoqing Merchant Association in such a way. Otherwise, you won't even know how you will die. Yemo smiled and replied, I know, thank you, big sister. There's a big auction on the island tonight. If you brought back anything good, you can sell it at the door there, you'll get a good price. The female cultivator reminded him again in goodwill. Yemo really didn't want to go to the auction. He had gained a lot, but Peichi Island wasn't a good place to sell it. He couldn't expose it yet. If someone knew he stole the spirit beast's ring, he would be finished. Yemo left the bar and showed his Golden Core State level 5 power again. It could save him a lot of trouble here. The once-a-year big auction of Peichi Island is being held tonight. All sorts of precious items. Only 2 low-grade spirit stones and you will know everything inside. A few chi-gathering cultivators raised their booklets promoting everywhere. Are the things in the auction tonight really all in your booklet? A Golden Core State grabbed a booklet and threw 2 spirit stones over while asking. The chi-gathering cultivator quickly said respectfully, Qianbei, more than 80% is in the booklet. Of course, there are some treasures at the end of the auction that we don't know. I know. The Golden Core State murmured and left. Give me one too. Yemo threw 2 low-grade spirit stones over and took one. There wasn't much on it, but it was indeed not bad. There were even level 6 spirit herbs and top-grade spirit artifacts. Level 7 spirit beast Dihua Beast Core? Yemo exclaimed. Level 7 beast core was so rare that you can't even buy it. Dihua beasts were very rare too, and very fast. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to catch one at all. Even hollow spirit state cultivators wouldn't be able to get Dihua beast core. Dihua beast core? Another Golden Core State heard this and immediately said to the chi-gathering cultivator, Give me a booklet too. When he got the booklet, he repeated in surprise, Dihua beast core indeed, and a level 7 at that. Yemo thought, the Dihua beast was hard to catch, but it was only a level 7 spirit beast. There was nothing special about it. Although Yemo really wanted to go up and ask, he knew it would be too sudden and that person might not tell him. Yemo wasn't interested in the auction originally. but because of the level 7 beast core, he decided to go. Thinking about this, Yemo left rapidly and went to a secluded place to put on 9 transformations. This time, Yemo changed into a pale-faced rich second-generation man. He dressed himself appropriately and held a spirit artifact fan. Although there were still a few hours before the auction began, Yemo didn't want to go enter along with a lot of people. There was a Foundation Establishment State Level 9 at the door, and seeing Yemo's very fashionable and cocky look, he didn't dare to be disrespectful. "Qianbei, there are still a few hours before the auction starts. Do you really want to go in now?" That Foundation Establishment State cultivator asked carefully. Yemo glared. "What, I can't?" This Foundation Establishment State shivered at the unreasonable glare and thought, these rich second generations were too hard to deal with. Which family let him out? "No, you can, of course you can." The Foundation Establishment State didn't even dare to look at Yemo's face and quickly replied. He knew that if he offended someone like this, he would die really quickly. "Give me the most expensive room." Yemo kept up his act. Yemo thought it would be at least a golden core state reception. "The most expensive room costs 100k top-grade spirit stones, the one lower." The Foundation Establishment State replied. He knew that the most expensive ones were just for show, rarely anyone went in. After all, 100k top-grade spirit stones were a huge fortune for a golden core state cultivator. Some golden core state cultivators only had about 1 or 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. Yemo waved his hand. "No need for the one lower, I'll take that 100k one." Then Yemo threw him a bag with 100k top-grade spirit stones and said, "Don't waste time, take me to my room." "Huh?" The Foundation Establishment State was dazed for a second, then immediately reacted. Okay, Qianbei, please follow me." Chapter 987, Real and Fake Rich Second Generation. Chapter 987, Real and Fake Rich Second Generation. That Foundation Establishment State cultivator brought Yemo inside and took care of the procedures. Then, another extremely pretty woman took Yemo to the most expensive room. After coming here, Yemo realized why this room was so expensive. It wasn't in the best location but was very luxurious and had a high-level spirit gathering formation, as well as all sorts of spirit fruit. There were some scantily clothed female cultivators and a big pink bed. This room was the most expensive, but not the best. Clearly, this place was most suited to the persona Yemo was currently displaying. Yemo was afraid of being recognized, otherwise he wouldn't act so cold. He waved his hand at those pretty girls and said, "You can leave now, I don't need you here, don't disturb my rest." His tone was cold and emotionless. Those female cultivators felt unsatisfied but didn't dare to go up and talk. They bowed and left. After these girls left, Yemo checked the situation in the room here. One could see the entire auction ground from here, and there was a high-level spirit sense barrier formation. There was no surveillance formation here either. Clearly, this auction was rather transparent and clean. Yemo had a lot of time to kill, so he sat down and started cultivating. "You said a youngster in his 20s looking very pale and unfamiliar?" A nascent soul state tertiary stage cultivator furrowed his brows in an equally luxurious room, questioning the Foundation Establishment State cultivator. "Yes, it was as though 100k spirit stones was nothing to him, and he took it out easily. He kicked the maids out as soon as he came in." The Foundation Establishment State replied respectfully. "Should I send someone in to check?" The nascent soul state waved his hand after some thought. "No need, he's here for the auction, we've been holding auctions for many years. As long as he behaves, we don't need to do anything. If he does anything odd, there's even less need to investigate him. He'll just spend some spirit stones." "Yes," the Foundation Establishment State quickly answered. A few hours passed and Yemo opened his eyes again, finding that most people were here. Yemo scanned with his spirit sense. Most of the people here were in the golden core state, and some were nascent soul state, but he didn't see any Foundation Establishment State cultivators, meaning that the lowest requirement for this auction was probably golden core state. Another 15 minutes passed, and when the entrance closed, another golden core state female cultivator with very little clothes walked up to the stage. The first item is a bottle of top-grade blue wind pills. There are 6 pills in total. I don't need to explain the effect of the blue wind pill, but I believe everyone knows better than me that the lowest price of the pill is 100k top-grade spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 5k. As soon as her voice sounded, the golden core state cultivators rustled. As long as one was golden core state, they needed the blue wind pill, 110k. People immediately started bidding, 120k, 150k. EMO finally understood why cultivators liked to come to coastal cities. The cultivators here were too wealthy. The fortune they had compared to cultivators of other places wasn't on the same level. At the Nanshan market auction, people used middle-grade spirit stones, but here people were using top-grade spirit stones and adding in 10,000s. One top-grade blue wind pill was sold for 300k. This wasn't a price that an ordinary golden core state could afford. The auctioneer was obviously happy that the first item was sold for this price. She looked at the excited atmosphere and said, "This is a top-grade spirit artifact rainbow silk dress. It's made with rainbow-winged spirit silkworm silk. It not only has astounding defensive capabilities but can also perfectly outline a female cultivator's curves. The bottom price is 200k top-grade spirit stones, each increment must be no less than 10k. Yemo didn't have a defensive spirit artifact, and neither did Song Yangzhu nor Yi Ling. This rainbow silk dress was very pretty, and seemed very light and soft. Yemo was interested at first glance. He had decided to buy it, and either Song Yangzhu or Yi Ling could wear it. Thinking of silk, Yemo thought of Shadowless. It was still asleep, but there was a thin layer of silk around it forming a cocoon. Yemo wondered if it could be made into an armor too. As Yemo thought for a moment, the rainbow silk dress's price had already rose to 360k. Yemo knew that too many female cultivators loved this, and there was no way that it could be bought with a low price. Yemo said, 500k. This price made a lot of the people fall silent. This price wasn't low, and someone who could casually take out so much was no ordinary person. There was a brief moment of silence until another bleak voice said, 510k, I'm Ao Qing Merchant Association's Ao Qilong. Friend, if you want to bid a higher price, then very well, I'll quit, hee. This was an obvious threat. Some other people who still wanted to bid gave up on the thought because of this. Ao Qilong was the young master of Ao Long Merchant Association. He was just 40 but was already Golden Core State Level 9. Yemo suddenly felt that he was back at the Nanshan market, and this Ao Qilong was Fate Zijiang. But now, Fate Zijiang was dead and that stone stool was in his golden page world. Now, there was another dimwit who tried to threaten him. He was a fake rich second generation, but he knew that Ao Qilong was a real rich second generation. His attitude was due to being given long-term respect by the people around him. He would naturally form a condescending attitude. The auctioneer was very unhappy with Ao Qilong's actions, but she couldn't do anything about it. Yemo suddenly thought, if one day MOU grew big and he held an auction and someone made threats in his auction, what would he do? What else? Throw him out. If MOU didn't have that power, then they shouldn't hold auctions. 510k once. Most people knew that there probably wasn't going to be another bid. 510k twice. The auctioneer's voice woke Yemo up. Ao Qilong smiled. So what if that Aravista stayed in the high-level room? Anyone could go in there with enough spirit stones. But for rooms like his, you needed not only spirit stones but also status. Thinking about this, he patted the female cultivator next to him and said, If I say those clothes are yours, then they're yours. No one can take them. That pretty female cultivator next to him called like a cat and squirmed into his arms, clearly very happy about the clothes she was about to get. But Yemo just called out, 520k. Everyone glanced or threw their spirit sense at Yemo's room, despite them being unable to send their spirit sense inside. Everyone wanted to know who this bold guy was who dared to slap Ao Qilong's face like that. Ao Qilong heard this and his face went green. He got up immediately. Chapter 988, Man Pill Recipe. Chapter 988, Man Pill Recipe. Ao Qilong didn't think this Aravista really dared to bid against, and slapped his face by adding an extra 10k spirit stones. Very well, I keep to my words. The rainbow silk dress is yours. I hope you can hold it long enough to make it warm. Ao Qilong's face was bleak. No one dared to be this rude to him. Even nascent soul state cultivators wouldn't show bad attitudes when they saw him. Everyone else also thought that this Aravista had balls. Some even guessed that Yemo had a large backing and was probably the young master of another big power, or he had conflicts with Ao Qilong already. That's why he added 10k. Otherwise, he could have added 50k or more. Although that would still offend Ao Qilong, it wouldn't offend him as much. Now, no one wanted to add more spirit stones. They all knew that Ao Qilong would rob the item back in the end. 520k spirit stones 1, 520k spirit stones twice. The auctioneer seemed to want to insult Ao Qilong and dragged her voice on. 520k third time. The female cultivator slammed the hammer. Deal, congratulations, friend from the 11th room. Yemo sneered. This made Ao Qilong even angrier, but this female cultivator didn't have any good intentions either. He didn't care, he already offended Ao Qilong, so it didn't matter how badly Ao Qilong hated him. The rainbow silk dress was sent to Yemo's room. Yemo opened it, and saw it was indeed made very exquisitely and emitted a soft chi. He was sure that if one wore this, it was not only very beautiful but comfortable as well. Yemo was very happy that he could get this for 520k spirit stones. The only ones unhappy were Ao Qilong and the beautiful woman in his arms. The auctioneer took out the third item. She showed it off and said, "This is a level 4 formation disc. It can attack or defend. The starting bid is 100k top grade spirit stones." Yemo had lost interest in what she had to say, but Yemo didn't expect that a level 4 formation disc would have a 100k starting price. Yemo knew that if he had the materials now, it was no problem for him to make level 4 formation discs. His formation skills had reached level 5. It seemed that both pill concoction and formations were lucrative businesses. If he went to learn forgery sometime, then he would be a master of all the cultivation realm crafts. Yemo shook his head. Any of the arts, whether it was formation, pill concoction, forgery, or rune making, was each enough for a cultivator to study for their entire life, yet he wanted to learn all of them. After the formation disc was bought for 160k spirit stones, the following items were either pills or spirit artifacts. There were a few spirit herbs that were useful to Yemo, but he didn't buy them. After all, he had too many spirit herbs in his storage ring. He didn't need to buy everything he saw. Half a day passed quickly and Yemo didn't buy anything else. He wanted to buy the level 7 Dihua Beast Core. He felt that this Beast Core would benefit him, but he didn't know exactly how. Just as he was thinking about this, that female cultivator said, "The next item is definitely explosive. Many friends have already guessed it. That's right, the level 7 Dihua Beast Core." As expected, the cultivators down below burst into pandemonium. Many people didn't even know what the Dihua Beast was or knew what it was for. After the noise, the auctioneer said, "Many people just think this is just a level 7 Beast Core, but if you think like that, you're wrong. The difference between other Beast Cores is that the Dihua Beast Core can increase your chances of reaching nascent soul state. If you spirit refine the Beast Core, you will have above a 60% chance of reaching nascent soul state." Seeing that someone was about to talk, she pressed her hands together and said, "Friends, don't be hasty. I know you want to say that if you just spirit refine the Beast Core directly, you would explode even if it was a level 5 Beast Core, right? That's true for other Beast Cores, but the Dihua Beast is an exception. Instead of calling it a Beast Core, the Dihua Beast Core is more like a spirit item. Of course it's not a spirit fruit, but it's the only Beast Core that can be spirit refined by a cultivator. It contains astounding amounts of spirit power, but it's not volatile. It's very calm and doesn't contain any negative emotions. If you get the Dihua Beast Core and Spirit refine it with Mist Flower, then you'll have an even greater chance of reaching nascent soul state because the Beast Core can neutralize the explosive power of the Mist Flower. So this Beast Core is like a Chao Huan pill but better. Rumble. The crowd burst into excitement. No one expected that the auction would have something similar to a Chao Huan pill. Although a level 7 Beast Core was something that a nascent soul state used to reach hollow spirit state, even nascent soul state cultivators wouldn't be able to spirit refine other beast cores. Yimo's head also rumbled. He finally understood what the Heaven Glory pill was missing. It was the level 7 Dihua Beast Core. If this woman didn't explain it, he would never think that the Beast Core of Dihua had large amounts of neutral spirit energy. His Heaven Glory pill needed something with large amounts of spirit power. Plus, if the Beast Core could neutralize the volatility of the Mist Flower, then it could also neutralize the volatile power of the other herbs in Heaven Glory pill. Yemo smiled bitterly. If he didn't know what the fifth ingredient was, it was fine, but after learning it, he realized how absurd his trial before was. He was thinking that if he could find the fifth ingredient, he could concoct large amounts for everyone around him, but now he knew that was impossible. This Beast Core was very rare. Plus, the pill itself was absurd. Which man then thought of using such an extravagant way of concocting pills for Golden Core State cultivators? If a level 7 Beast Core couldn't let a Golden Core State cultivator increase one level, then this level 7 core didn't deserve to be level 7. The reason this guy was crazy was that even one whole bottle of Heaven Glory pill might not be worth a Dihua Beast Core. But Yemo was also crazy like this. He wouldn't care if it was a level 7 Beast Core or not. If it was useful for his cultivation now, then he would be willing to get it no matter the cost. The auctioneer waited for the crowd to calm down before saying, "The starting bid is 1.5 million top-grade spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 50k, you can start bidding now." Everyone knew it wasn't going to be cheap, but 1.5 million top-grade spirit stones as a starting bid was too insane. The scene fell silent. But the auctioneer wasn't worried at all. She stood on the stage waiting for bids. She knew there would be people who could afford it. Chapter 989, What is an Imbecile? Chapter 989, What is an Imbecile? 1.6 million. The auctioneer didn't wait for long and some cultivator already made a bid. Soon more people started to bid. 1.7 million. 1.8 million. 2 million mine. Some even stood up while making bids and raised their fist. However, this Dihua Beast Core was worth much more than this price. Soon, when Yemo wanted to bid, it was already 2.15 million. After this price, no one made bids anymore. A Golden Core State Peak Stage stood up in excitement and said shakily, "No one else is bidding, call time." Everyone could understand how the Golden Core State Peak Stage was feeling, and so could Yemo, but he was still going to make a bid. He had to buy it. This core decided if he could reach nascent soul state. Yemo was really sick of using spirit crystals to concoct the Heaven Glory pill. That pain wasn't something ordinary people could endure. Plus, he didn't even know if there were side effects with the pills made with spirit crystals. The female cultivator smiled and just wanted to speak when someone else made a bid. 2 million, another voice said before Yemo could bid. The Golden Core State Peak Stage slunk down after hearing this price. Clearly, this was the highest price he could afford. Yemo heard this voice and sneered. It was that Ao Qilong again. This guy wanted what he had his eyes on every time. How angry would this guy be once he took the Dihua Beast Core from him? 2 million first time. Seeing Ao Qilong make a bid, the auctioneer wasn't happy but could only start calling. Before she could call twice, Yemo bid 2.5 million. The competition was intense before, but rarely did anyone add 300k spirit stones each time. Yemo's bid immediately caught the attention of everyone. When they saw it was the same guy, they had looks of understanding. That Aravista in the luxurious room clearly had some great conflicts with Ao Qilong, otherwise he wouldn't be fighting with him for every bid. Ao Qilong was furious hearing that it was Yemo bidding. He knew that he wasn't going to let this guy go after the auction, but he was now outbid publicly again. He was extremely unhappy. 6 million. Ao Qilong added 100k without hesitation. Even if he gave the auction holders more spirit stones, he didn't want to be outbid by Emo twice. The young master of the Ao Qing Merchant Association was outbid by an Aravista. He couldn't lose that face. 3 million, Emo said calmly. He didn't consider Ao Qilong a threat at all. The level 7 beast core was worth at most 2 million spirit stones. Even if the Dihua beast core was more valuable, it wouldn't be worth over 3 million. After all, these beast cores were only effective for the golden core state and nascent soul state. 1 million. Ao Qilong cursed. How dare this insolent brat dare to compete with him? Did he not know he was the young master of the Ao Qing Merchant Association? He couldn't lose face for that name. 5 million, Emo said. He picked up tens of millions of top-grade spirit stones for free. It didn't hurt him at all. Everyone took a deep breath. This Aravista was so wealthy. 5 million top-grade spirit stones had far exceeded the value of the Dihua beast core already. Even ordinary nascent soul state cultivators wouldn't have this much wealth. Just when Ao Qilong wanted to increase the bid, a manager-like person next to him whispered, "We only brought 5 million spirit stones along, and you've already spent 2 million on the things you bought before. We don't have more spirit stones." Ao Qilong heard this and almost spat blood. Since when was he, young Master Ao, insulted like this, and that too in front of the pretty girl he just got? He really wanted to bid more, but he didn't have enough spirit stones. Okay, you have balls," Ao Qilong said coldly to Yemo. Yemo sneered. He was never afraid of threats and replied coldly, "Ao, you have balls too. How dare you bid against me? If you don't have money, then don't like you do. Cheap shit." The scene fell silent. Even the auctioneer didn't understand. Ao Qilong was threatening Yemo, but he didn't name names. But now, this Aravista not only won the bid but also named Ao Qilong and cursed him. He sounded like a hippie on the streets. The insults had no technique at all. Slam! Ao Qilong pulverized the tea table in front of him. Everyone in the auction place could hear it clearly. Yemo said calmly, "You're an imbecile indeed. You don't have money to buy things, so you vent your anger on the property of the auctioneer. But luckily your dad has enough money for compensations." "What's an imbecile?" a voice suddenly asked, clearly not liking Ao Qilong too. "No matter who you are, if I don't repay you dearly, I'm not a human," Ao Qilong gritted his teeth and said. Yemo replied to the cultivator who asked the question, "See now, this is an imbecile." Everyone heard this and burst into laughter. Yemo sneered. He wasn't someone without a brain. He wasn't going to fight with Ao Qilong by swearing at him. But since Ao Qilong wanted to attack him, he was going to stand up for himself. The more he angered Ao Qilong, the more Ao Qilong would want to kill him personally. This way, he wouldn't think of getting help. If he left Peiqi Island and Ao Qilong chased him by himself, he wouldn't mind killing this guy. He'd been annoyed at Ao Qing Merchant Association for a long time. Killing one of them was still one dead. If this guy calmed down and found a nascent soul state cultivator, then it would become quite difficult for Yemo. Yemo was not interested in the next items, so he left the auction scene after getting the Dihua core. He knew that with Ao Qing Merchant Association's influence here, Ao Qilong would be able to know when he left. So Yemo never intended to hide it from Ao Qilong. He left openly. As soon as Yemo left, Ao Qilong took a Golden Core State Peak Stage and the Golden Core State Level 2 female cultivator, and followed him out. Clearly, Yemo thought too much. Ao Qilong never intended to ask a nascent soul state cultivator to come for a mere Golden Core State Level 5 like Yemo. If it wasn't that the manager kept following him, he wanted to kill Yemo himself instantly. But what Yemo didn't expect was that another Golden Core State Peak Stage left the auction and followed Yemo and Ao Qilong. Yemo sneered. That Golden Core State Peak Stage clearly wanted the Dihua core. He probably also wanted things from Ao Qilong. But the Golden Core State Peak Stage's stealth cultivation method was good. Even Ao Qilong's Golden Core State Peak Stage manager didn't notice him. Yemo's spirit sense was very strong and he had been very experienced in stealth cultivation methods. Playing stealth in front of him was like teaching physics in front of Albert Einstein. The Golden Core State Peak Stage probably also planned to kill Ao Qilong after he killed him. That way, Ao Qilong's disappearance would be blamed on him. But if that was the guy's plan, then Yemo had planned a little surprise for him. Chapter 990, Injured Twice. Chapter 990, Injured Twice. Thinking about this, Yemo didn't choose to fly towards Peihai City and instead flew to Two Horn Island. Yemo had gone through here once. He knew that in another few thousand kilometers, there would be a small island. Although that wasn't Two Horn Island, it was enough for Yemo to kill people. Yemo didn't take much time to get there on his flying ship. After Yemo landed on the island, he started laying down formations. If Ao Qilong knew that his trap formation was for him, he would be even more furious. The reason Yemo decided to set up a trap formation and not an attack formation was that there was another Golden Core State Peak Stage as well. Yemo wasn't concerned with the first three. He was confident that he could kill all of them without any formation. But Yemo felt threatened by that Golden Core State Peak Stage behind them. His stealth cultivation method was much stronger than the other three and he seemed very powerful. His chi was even similar to Dong Tianya. Dong Tianya was ranked 4th in the South Peace State Golden Core State Hall of Fame. Even Yemo now might not be able to win against Dong Tianya. Thus, one could see how strong that Golden Core State Peak Stage behind them was. This guy was the reason Yemo set up the trap formation. He didn't want this guy to run, so he had to set up a trap formation. Although in such little time he could only set up a level 3 formation, that was enough. Despite Yemo's formation skills being far better than before, as soon as he finished the formation base, Ao Qilong and his 2 people were here. Seeing Yemo standing on the island and not running, Ao Qilong sneered. "Keep running, weren't you really cocky in the auction? Why aren't you cocky now?" Yemo smiled. "Young Master Ao, which eye did you see me running with? With which eye did you see me not being cocky?" Ao Qilong was at a loss for words. This Aravista was very calm and didn't seem to want to run at all. "Very well, you have balls indeed." Ao Qilong was so angry he laughed. He turned back to his manager and said, "Tong Zhong, debilitate him, don't kill him yet." That manager was obedient and released a huge octagonal mace without hesitation. He didn't have any scruples about killing Yemo. If Yemo wasn't just an Aravista, he would go to the high-class room that also required status, not just money. The mace released was very strange. It didn't have a handle. It seemed like an octagonal ball. But once it was released, it immediately turned into a metal mountain that loomed over Yemo. Yemo approved of this cultivator's attack. This mace made the air around Yemo stiff, making people feel they were in a canopy. But Yemo didn't even need to struggle against this. He just used his cultivation essence, and that feeling disappeared without a trace. This binding was too weak, even an ordinary Golden Core State tertiary stage would be able to break free. Thud. Yemo was smashed a few hundred meters away into a huge rock. He immediately spat a mouth of blood and seemed to be immobilized. Yemo was speechless. He was fighting someone and he had to force himself to spit blood. This was unbearable. But Yemo knew that if he took the upper hand, that cunning fox would get ready to retreat even if he didn't retreat himself. Was someone that powerful, if he decided to retreat, even Yemo wouldn't be able to stop him with a trap formation. If someone escaped here, even if he wore the 9 transformations, he would leave behind some clues. Yemo wasn't going to take this risk. Plus, he knew he couldn't kill Ao Qilong personally. Ao Qilong's support was at least a hollow spirit state cultivator. The difference between the hollow spirit state and nascent soul state was too huge. Yemo didn't believe at all that there was no spirit sense tracing on Ao Qilong. If his conjecture was right, anyone who killed Ao Qilong would have his information sent back. So, Yemo couldn't kill Ao Qilong and had to wait for that man lurking behind them to kill Ao Qilong instead. In that case, he couldn't act too tough. Ha ha, I thought you were strong, but this is all you've got. Keep bidding, perhaps if you call out a higher bid I can let you go. Idiot, you're just an Aravista and you dare to act cocky on Peichi Island. Ao Chilong walked up to Emo and sneered. Don't worry, I won't kill you now. I will take you back to serve you properly. In Ao Chilong's eyes Emo was an idiot waiting for torture. Emo shook his head. This Ao Chilong was really like an idiot, as he said. He had zero fighting experience. Even if he didn't die here today, he would eventually be killed. Why didn't he think that if Emo truly had so little power, how would he dare to bring them here to get himself killed? Brother Long, why not kill him now and take his ring? Let's see how many spirit stones this Aravista has. That golden core state level 2 beautiful woman said softly as she walked over and held Ao Chilong's arm. The greed was almost dripping out of her eyes as she stared at Yemo's ring. Wait! That golden core state peak stage seemed to notice something wrong. Yemo was so cocky, this shouldn't be all he had. But he had just called out when he saw Yemo suddenly get up and throw out a big stamp. It immediately turned into the size of a small mountain and smashed towards Ao Chilong. The golden core state peak stage was shaken and wanted to help, but he wasn't going to make it in time. But Ao Chilong only sneered. Stupid little trick! At the same time, he released a silver broadsword that immediately turned into a 3-meter-wide silver light. The silver light struck the stamp first, and this stamp was hacked away thousands of meters away before falling on the ground and dimming. Yemo was sent flying hundreds of meters away, crashing into the rocks of the island before spitting out more blood. Yemo was angry. That golden core state peak stage hiding in the back saw that he had lost too quickly and instead didn't dare to come out. Helpless, Yemo could only ambush Ao Chilong. He only showed the ordinary strength of a golden core state level 5 in that attack. He believed that the lurking cultivator wouldn't be able to tell. If he still didn't fall for it, then Yemo had decided to use all his power. It wasn't certain that he would be able to keep them all. This is your confidence? A mere golden core state level 5 dares to ambush me, Ao Chilong said in contempt. Perhaps you finally know the difference between golden core state level 9 and golden core state middle stage. What a pity it's useless to know it now. Yemo was completely speechless. Before his ambush, he intentionally let out his cultivation essence and attacked once Ao Chilong had a reaction. But now this guy was shamelessly talking about the difference between golden core state level 5 and level 9. Tong Zhong breathed easy, but he immediately became vigilant and turned around. At this moment a sigh sounded in their ears. The three realized another person had come onto this island. Yemo felt assured hearing this. The last guy finally came. Otherwise, he didn't know how long he would have to keep up the act. Now these guys can bite each other. Yemo knew that the reason that the golden core state peak stage believed his act was not because he was smart, but because the guy didn't consider his power a threat. It's indeed an Aravista, and a golden core state level 5 at that. You really dream too big. You came to this island and set up a trap formation wanting to use it to kill 2 golden core state level 9 cultivators. Pity you didn't have time to finish it. The golden core state peak stage walked over as though there was no one here. Then, he looked at Yemo. I knew the first time you got injured was an act. But with your power, you can't even pretend anything. You want to rely on your trap formation, right? You think you can trap them even if you set it up? Keep dreaming. Chapter 991, Terrifying Emotionally. Chapter 991, Terrifying Emotionally. Yemo bit his lips and didn't say anything. Meanwhile, he was thinking about how powerful this golden core state peak stage was. He could tell that he was acting the first time, but what about the second time? As for this guy seeing his trap formation, he didn't care at all. Even Tong Zhong saw it. To them, this formation was worth nothing. But only Yemo knew the power of this trap formation. It was just a level 3 trap formation base, but Yemo believed that once he completed the formation, even golden core state peak stage cultivators wouldn't be able to get away. That golden core state peak stage looked at Yemo and said, Seeing how you're quite wealthy, I'll let your opponents die first. Yemo felt his words were dodgy but couldn't tell exactly what was wrong with them. Ao Qilong was instead feeling concerned seeing that this guy arrived on the island without them noticing. But he was about to lash out seeing how nonchalant this guy was. However, Tong Zhong got in front of him and said, "Friend, this Aravista has some conflict with us. This has nothing to do with you, are you going to get involved too? Our Ao Qing Merchant Association isn't something that people can abuse." The Golden Core State Peak stage suddenly sneered. "You don't need to hang Ao Qing Merchant Association on your mouth. It's not bad, but I don't consider it a threat. Even if the Heavenly Monarch wants to take my shit, I will fight for it. So this means you want to fight with us, friend?" Tong Zhong grabbed the octagonal mace and said. The Golden Core State Peak stage looked at that mace in contempt and said, "That ragged ball is enough for a Golden Core State level 5, but not enough for me. So shameless, you're only a Golden Core State cultivator too, yet you think you're nascent soul state. Brother Long, kill this cocky bastard," the female cultivator said in contempt. Only Yemo knew that this Golden Core State Peak stage delayed the time of her getting his ring. That's why she was unhappy with him. The amicable Golden Core State Peak stage's face suddenly went cold, and he flung his hand behind him. That female cultivator didn't even see what it was and her body sprayed out blood mist. She looked at that Golden Core State Peak stage in disbelief and wanted to say something, but she was unable to and just died. A Golden Core State Level 2 was instant killed. Even Yemo was shaken. He had tried to estimate this Golden Core State Peak stage's strength, but he was even stronger than he had imagined. Yemo saw clearly that the strike was a long, thin black line. It seemed to be alive and very fast, instantly piercing the woman's dantian. What shook Yemo was that the string looked very thin but immediately released power enough to blast her chest apart. Yemo was unnerved. If that man had ambushed him first, he didn't know if he could have dodged it. "How dare you kill Fei Fei? I'm going to kill you!" Ao Qilong was furious and was about to attack with his broad silver sword. But Tong Zhong stopped him. "Wait, young master." Ao Qilong calmed down after this. His eyes grew cold and that broad sword circulated above his head as though he would kill someone at any time. "Friend, you're strong, we'll leave now," Tong Zhong said. The Golden Core State chuckled. "You want to go? You've probably recognized me, right? Since you have, do you think I will let you go?" Yemo was shaken upon hearing these words. He looked at the Golden Core State Peak stage. His face was very ordinary, one that people would never remember again. Clearly, this man also wore a mask, but it was a much higher level than his. This guy's mask was a magic artifact that made people unable to remember the face. Yemo was sure that the reason Tong Zhong recognized this man was due to that string. Tong Zhong's face went pale, but he still saluted with his fists. "Yes, I recognize you, friend. North Far State Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 3. Ao Qilong was shaken. "Your North Far State Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 3, Mo Qianli?" Then Ao Qilong's face also went pale. There were 2 of them, but they were far from enough for Mo Qianli. They didn't expect he would appear here. Mo Qianli's name wasn't Mo Qianli originally. His surname was Mo, and he was very cruel. He never left anyone alive. Thus, everyone called him Mo Qianli, meaning that they must not get within 1,000 kilometers of this guy if they were fighting him. Otherwise, if they got close, they would die for sure. Pretty much everyone who had encountered him was already dead. That's why no one knew what he looked like. He was the only one to not go to Golden Core State Hall of Fame but still appear on the rankings. Some even said he had killed nascent soul state primary stage cultivators, but no one knew for sure. This ranking of 3rd was given decades ago. Perhaps he could even be Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 1 now. Attack. Tong Zhong was decisive. He knew that Mo Qianli wasn't going to let them go no matter what. Ao Qilong also released his huge broad sword and threw a rune out. He could only activate this level 6 rune in this short time. It couldn't do anything to Mo Qianli but was enough to delay him. Tong Zhong's mace suppressed space again and howled towards Emo Qianli. A black bead also appeared in his hand. This was red lightning. Seeing Emo Qianli sneer, Emo immediately knew that even if the two used all their means, they were no match for Emo Qianli. He didn't expect Emo Qianli to be this strong. Emo couldn't care about Shadowless slumber anymore. He used a light spirit sense pike on Shadowless to wake him up. He needed this guy, but this guy was sleeping in Golden Page World. Shadowless was woken up by the spirit sense pike, and when he knew of Yemo's will, he crawled out unhappily. He raised his feet at Yemo but eventually succumbed to Yemo's will and went out. Yemo found that the gold dot already covered more than half of Shadowless' back. Yemo was quite expectant to see how powerful Shadowless was now. Yemo looked at the three fighting. Ao Qilong's chest was bleeding and looked at Emo Qianli in satisfaction. Clearly, he didn't have long to live. That cool-looking sword was on the side. Tong Zhong was covered in blood. His mace was surrounded by countless black strings and couldn't move. The red lightning he threw out was also surrounded by countless black lines and couldn't even activate. More and more black strings appeared while Emo Qianli only had a few holes on his clothes. His demeanor was very calm. Clearly, he didn't doubt at all that he could kill the two. Tong Zhong's face was pale, bead-sized sweat rolled down it. Yemo also noticed that there was a black string floating in front of him that was moving slowly towards his dantian. Tong Zhong knew that he would be dead for sure if the black string neared his dantian, but he couldn't stop it at all. He used all his cultivation essence, and could only slow the black string. Yemo was shocked. It seemed that Emo Qianli could control far more than just one black string. But Yemo also was decisive. If he had to ambush, it was now. Otherwise, when Emo Qianli finished dealing with Tong Zhong, he wouldn't be well off either. Chapter 992, Already Made a Move. Chapter 992, Already made a move. The moment he decided to attack, he released Zisu and used Purple Eye Soul Sever to the max. He didn't even care about the damage he did to himself. He used the Illusion Cloud Whirlpool Strike with the Purple Eye Soul Sever. This was the most powerful and cruel attack Yemo could use. It was cruel to both the enemy and himself. His Purple Eye Soul Sever, when used at full power, did quite some damage to himself as well. With his Golden Core State Level 5 Cultivation Essence, the Illusion Cloud Whirlpool Strike was so much more powerful than before. The Whirlpool Purple Sword rays were dense, and even formed a tangible purple whirlpool, completely surrounding Emo Qianli. Thousands of meters of distance passed under Yemo's feet rapidly. When the purple sword rays had surrounded Emo Qianli, Yemo was already there. But when Yemo saw the sneer on Emo Qianli's face, his heart went cold. He had a bad feeling. He finally realized where that feeling came from. In his subconscious, he thought that Emo Qianli was underestimating him. But in fact, Emo Qianli saw through that he was faking the injury both the first time and second time. The reason, he said? Seeing as how you're wealthy, I'll let your opponent die first. This was just to make Yemo think that he lowered his vigilance against Yemo. But when he was fighting Tong Zhong and Ao Qilong, he was actually constantly wary of his ambush. The reason Emo Qianli said that he had seen through his trap formation was to make him less cautious, and he fell for it. It could be said that as soon as the two met each other, Emo Qianli was targeting Yemo with his attacks while he was still oblivious and trying to scheme against Emo Qianli. He fell for it indeed and chose to ambush Emo Qianli at this moment. Emo Qianli could have killed Tong Zhong way earlier, but he was waiting for him to attack. Understanding this, Yemo forcibly stopped himself and wanted to pull back Zisu. Yemo knew that his Whirlpool Strike wasn't enough to kill someone as powerful as Emo Qianli, so he might as well take it back for defense. As soon as Yemo wanted to pull back Zisu, he felt the countless black strings join together, forming a thumb-sized strand. Before Yemo could react, it was already at his chest. There was some horror in his dantian. He had the strong feeling of being suppressed. Yemo could see clearly that the spear-like black strings were the ones surrounding the mace, but under Emo Qianli's control, they instantly attacked him. Yemo didn't even have time to use Zisu to block. He had seen countless golden core state masters but never someone as fast as Emo Qianli. He might not even be able to stop this speed head-on, much less when being ambushed. But this guy was careful to the extreme. Ordinary cultivators would have long given up already, but Yemo spat out essence blood and used purple eye soul sever to the best of his ability. Even if he was going to die, he was going to bite this bastard. The moment that the black string was about to pierce into Yemo's chest, the pressure paused and so did the string. Yemo wasn't going to waste this opportunity. Zissou was already released and was in front of his chest. Yemo knew that the moment of pause wasn't that Emo Qianli wanted to have mercy on him but due to his soul pike. If it wasn't for that, he would have been gone already. Before Yemo could even sweat, he had already used illusion cloud exert will strike to the best of his capability. Ugh! Emo Qianli gasped, clearly suffering from the attack. A trickle of blood came out of his mouth, but he maintained his sneer. You didn't disappoint me indeed, this is a spirit sense attack. I'm using 40% of my focus to deal with the two idiots from Aoqing Merchant Association and spending 60% of my attention on you, but you could still manage to injure me. Even so, you're still going to die. Suddenly, the thick black strand turned into countless fine black strands and surrounded Yemo Tongxing, who barely survived because of Yemo looked on dazedly at Yemo and Emo Qianli. When Emo Qianli was fighting them, he wasn't using his full power at all. This was his full power now, the heaven-covering black strings. Tong Zhong was shaking from just looking at the sight. What shook him more was that the Golden Core State Level 5 had been acting weak. He realized now that the reason he acted like he had gotten injured was not to fight them but for Emo Qianli. Clearly, the trap formation this Golden Core State Level 5 set up was not for them but for Emo Qianli. From the start to the end, the two weren't targeting them but each other. Tong Zhong's heart sunk. Such a terrifying Golden Core State middle stage. Tong Zhong knew Yemo wasn't going to live through this, but he had never even heard of a Golden Core State Level 5 cultivator that was this strong. What a joke it was that he and the young master had thought this was an Aravista. Ai Qilong, who only had one breath in him, also looked at Yemo in a daze. He knew that Yemo was going to die under this move for sure. But if Emo Qianli wasn't here, this insect of a Golden Core State Level 5 to him would have long finished them off. The outside world is dangerous. Don't go out easily until you reach nascent soul state. Ao Qilong finally understood what his father had meant when he said this. Clearly, his power was nothing in North Far State. Other people respected him because of the Aoqing Merchant Association, not his own power. Even Emo Qianli felt Yemo was about to be killed. He breathed easier but also thought that this Golden Core State Level 5 was the strongest he had ever encountered. If he wasn't careful and schemed for everything ahead, he might not have such an advantage. Now that he was surrounded by the evil soul strands, not even a nascent soul state cultivator would be able to escape. But before Emo Qianli killed Yemo, he wouldn't underestimate Yemo at all. He kept trying to pierce Yemo with the black strands. He had already ignored Tong Zhong and Ao Qilong. The only person who didn't think he would die was Yemo himself. He had calmed down now. He knew that he must not be pierced by these strands, or he would be finished. The illusion cloud exert will strike activated countless sword rays that joined together like a sword ray formation, blocking every little strand accurately. At first, Emo Qianli didn't care, but when he saw that his strands kept on getting wasted, his face finally changed. He split one strand that pierced Tong Zhong and Ao Qilong's head. Then, he used the remaining ones to attack Yemo. The strands grew in number and speed. He wanted to kill Yemo as fast as possible. Chapter 993, Illusion Cloud 5th Strike. Chapter 993, Illusion Cloud 5th Strike. When he took Ao Qilong's head, a beam of light darted into Emo Qianli's body. Emo Qianli saw it, but he didn't care at all. Clearly, this wasn't the first time he had dealt with this. Illusion Cloud Exert will strike. It was forming a communication with each sword ray through his will. But as the strands grew more and more, Yemo also began to struggle. He didn't even have time to eat a spirit recovery pill. He was soaked in sweat and blood seeped out of his mouth. His face was very pale. Clearly, his spirit sense was already injured. At last, Yemo just closed his eyes. He couldn't care about finishing the trap formation to trap Emochienli. This Emochienli was too strong. He had to think about how to escape the endless strands. Yemo seemed to have the same feeling as when he fought Ji Ziyuan. He had to rely on his senses to feel the black strands and destroy them. As time went on, more and more blood seeped out of Yemo's mouth, but he still closed his eyes to feel the black strands piercing over. Yemo wasn't the only one struggling. Emochienli's face was also pale. He didn't expect someone would be able to survive this long after being trapped by his black strands. Was this Golden Core State Level 5 a monster? Emochienli couldn't stop now as well. He had to kill Yemo as the evil soul strands were taxing on the spirit sense as well. He would be hurt greatly if he forcibly stopped them before killing someone. It seemed like he had the upper hand, but it was actually a stalemate. If he could hold on till the end, Yemo would lose. If he couldn't, then the soul strands being destroyed would heavily injure him and make his cultivation level drop. What shook Missouri Chienli was that he had so many evil soul strands, but none of them could hurt Yemo at all. No matter how fast they were, Yemo could always find it and destroy them. In the beginning, his evil soul strands were very close to Yemo, but now they were being pushed away. Only when he killed the other two and focused all his efforts on Yemo did the strands push towards Yemo again. The reason he was undefeated was that those who were pierced by his evil soul strands would die for sure. No one could escape. As time went on, Emochienli began to get scared. If this continued, he would lose for sure, because Yemo was starting to push the evil soul strands back again. He even started to regret getting involved in this matter. Little did he know that there was Shadowless under his feet. It wasn't that Yemo had forgotten about Shadowless, but Yemo couldn't spare the energy to hint to Shadowless to attack. Shadowless was strong, but its intelligence was still completely under Yemo's control. It couldn't attack on its own. But even if Yemo could order Shadowless now, he wouldn't. He had gotten past the hardest moment. He was still bleeding from using too much spirit sense, but he was very happy. He finally felt the feel of the illusion cloud fifth strike. When he controlled the sword rays to form simple formations, they drastically decreased the threat of the black strands. Yemo kept trying these methods of control. After some time, Yemo suddenly felt comfortable. The pressure was gone and his spirit sense completely let loose. He opened his eyes and found that his purple sword rays had formed a sword ray formation that trapped the diminished black strands. With a mere thought, those black strands would be completely destroyed. Illusion cloud formation kill strike popped up into Yemo's mind. He knew that his illusion cloud fifth strike had formed. It was just a trap and kill formation now, but as his spirit sense increased and his control over the sword rays did as well, it would turn into more and more types of trap and kill formations, and even defense formations as well. Looking at the pale-faced Emochienli, Yemo howled and waved Zisu, making an arc before yelling, "Kill!" Suddenly, the black strands were enveloped by the purple sword rays. Seeing Yemo destroy all the black strands, Emochienli suddenly spat blood. His face was as pale as paper. He looked dazedly at the black strands that had disappeared and couldn't believe that the evil soul strands that had allowed him to dominate people and kill countless enemies for 200 years were all destroyed. Although he had lost more than half of his black strands already, he had believed that if he killed Yemo, he would be able to get them back over time. But now, Yemo suddenly seemed to have found a way to deal with them, and instantly killed all of them. Emochienli looked coldly at Yemo and wanted to eat him. 200 years of work was destroyed before he even reached nascent soul state. His heart was bleeding. He had never thought that there would be a Golden Core State Level 5 as powerful as Yemo. If he reached Golden Core State Peak Stage, who could fight with him? There probably wouldn't be a more powerful Golden Core State cultivator in the entire North Far State. But he had to kill this man not by himself, however. He couldn't kill Yemo, but he only had to spread news that Yemo had killed Ao Qilong, and this Golden Core State Level 5 wouldn't live for long. Not everyone could hide like him. You will regret it. Emo Qianli glanced coldly at Emo for a long time before saying. Emo smiled. Whether or not I regret, you won't live to see it. You think you can trap me with an incomplete level 3 trap formation? Idiot, Emo Qianli said. Emo didn't answer and ordered Shadowless to attack while throwing out tens of formation flags. At the same time, Emo Qianli used his mobility technique. But as soon as he used it, he felt his meridians hurt. Immediately, he knew that he had been ambushed. He enveloped Shadowless immediately. He was someone who was very patient, but this Golden Core State level 5 was more patient than him. He only used such a killing blow when he was about to run away. This person was too scary. Emo Qianli just wanted to get away as far as possible. He instantly decided to burn his essence blood and force out Shadowless. The next moment, his figure had disappeared. Emo applauded Emo Qianli for his decisiveness and the power of his cultivation essence and spirit sense. He had been fighting with him for so long but still forced Shadowless out with just one mouthful of essence blood. This was also when Shadowless was so much stronger than before. Thud Emo Qianli was suddenly stopped a few kilometers away. He looked at Emo in disbelief and pointed at him in horror. You're a formation master as well. Clearly, if Emo wasn't a formation master, how could he finish and activate the trap formation so quickly? For the second time, Emo Qianli felt danger. The last time he felt this feeling was against the nascent soul state level 1. At that time, he used his wits and damaged himself heavily before trapping the nascent soul state and killing him with evil soul stands. You said you could run, I want to see how. Shadowless, go! Emo then gave Zisu a wave, bringing about another onslaught of purple sword rays. Chapter 994, No Right to Go. Chapter 994, No Right to Go. Emo Qianli was furious. How dare Emo ambush him again with that thing? If he got ambushed again, then he wouldn't be called Emo Qianli. Even though his evil soul strands were gone, he wasn't a pushover. Thinking about this, his spirit sense flared up in pain again. That damned spirit sense attack, just how many cards did this Golden Core State level 5 have? He was almost absurdly powerful, but in that moment of pain, Shadowless entered his meridians again. At this moment, Zisu brought countless sword rays and surrounded Emo Qianli. Emo Qianli had released a round shield already, but due to the spirit sense pike, he wasn't completely able to block the sword ray. Plus, Shadowless already started devouring his essence blood. 2 purple sword rays pierced Emo Qianli's body and his body froze. He wasn't able to stop the combined attack of Shadowless and Emo. He finally realized how powerful the purple sword rays were before. He thought lightly of them before, but now he realized that it was only because Emo wasn't able to fully activate them the first time. When the purple sword rays pierced into his body, he felt his cultivation essence flow away rapidly. I, Emo Qianli, have been dominant my entire life, but now I'm going to die here. I'm unsatisfied. Emo Qianli fell with endless hatred and unsatisfaction in his eyes. Emo took the 3 storage rings without hesitation and burned Emo Qianli's body before packing away the formation and leaving quickly. Emo Qianli had killed Ao Qilong during the battle. It was to bring the person behind Ao Qilong here. He was fast at running and had a way to remove the spirit sense mark, so he was fine even if the master came. Meanwhile, Emo would be the one unable to get away. Not long after Emo left, a man in his 50s soon appeared. He looked at the dead Ai Qilong and Tong Zhong. Fury burned in his heart as he cursed. No matter who you are, I will cut you into pieces for killing my son! After going around for a few days, Emo finally came back to Peihai City. What shook Emo was that there were suddenly a lot of high-level cultivators in the city. Most of them were above Hollow Spirit State. This made him worry. Emo got back to MOU immediately. Emo immediately summoned everyone once he got back, wanting to ask what happened after he left. But without a need to call anyone, everyone had gathered already. Only Su Jingwen was still in solitary cultivation. Song Yangzhu grabbed Emo's hand excitedly. The MOU now was not the same MOU that he had left. There weren't just 2 pill masters. Now there were 3 level 6 pill masters and 1 level 7 pill master. Li Jingwen was golden core state level 9. Clearly the blue wind pill had helped him greatly. Jin Shaoshan had returned to golden core state level 3 again. Yi Ling and Song Yangzhu were both foundation establishment state peak stage. They were 1 step away from golden core state, and the only thing holding them back was that the 2 didn't have the cultivation increasing pill necessary. The reason the 2 reached this level of cultivation in less than 2 years was partly due to their spirit roots but also because EMO was providing them with spirit range pills. Not even 8-star and 9-star sects would have such things, but EMO gave them to foundation establishment state cultivators. Even Suyu and Xingzhong were Qi gathering level 8. Yu Qiyang was foundation establishment state level 5. What shook EMO the most was Su Jingwen. She reached foundation establishment state without the foundation establishment pill. After she activated her hidden spirit root, her progress was astounding. Plus, she spent almost all of her time in cultivation. Li Yuqian had the least progress, she was still nascent soul state level 1. EMO knew that when she had reached nascent soul state, it was already forced. Plus, it was harder to progress in nascent soul state, so it was normal that she wasn't able to progress. Sisterly, I heard people outside say that the Yanhai Merchant Association had bad intentions for us and a disaster transformation state Qianbei helped us? Is that Qianbei still in Peihai? Yemo asked. If he is, then I should go visit him. Li Yuqian nodded. Yes, that Qianbei is called Jiling. He's a disaster transformation state formation master from the South Peace State. He came looking for you many times. He seemed very interested in our defense and attack formation. Every time he came, he would study it for a while. But half a month ago, the teleportation formation between South Peace State and North Far State was completed, so he left Peihai. He left behind a jade card saying that if you go to the South Peace State you can find him there. He left? Yemo said with regret. But then he immediately reacted and asked in joy. Sisterly, did you say the teleportation formation between South Peace State and North Far State is complete? Yes, it's finished. Brother, do you want to go find Sister Luoying and Qixia there? Yiling asked. Yemo nodded. Yes, I received news that they are there. If the teleportation formation is open, then let's go there together. The spirit chi is much better than here, we can cultivate there. But Li Yuqian shook her head. I know you've wanted to go there and I've asked Jiling Qianbei too. That teleportation formation is not for ordinary people, it's for cultivators at the hollow spirit state and above, and you have to be younger than 300 years. Jiling Qianbei said that even though you're a formation master, he wasn't able to break this rule and get a spot for you to go. This immediately doused Yemo's excitement. The teleportation formation was ready, but it had nothing to do with him. Seeing Yemo's disappointment, Li Yuqian said, This is only the first criteria. The second one is that each person must pay 1 million top-grade spirit stones. Yemo fell silent. That was too easy for him, but hollow spirit state power, even if he could reach it, how long would that take? Surely it wasn't going to take him 1 or 2 years? Could he wait that long? Just these 2 criteria? Yemo asked. Li Yuqian shook her head. No, 2 more. One can be accepted with either the referral of a disaster transformation state Qianbei from North Far State, or if one is a pill king who is level 3 or above. Yemo had already broken through to a level 4 pill king last time. But the thing was, he couldn't show that. With his current power, if he made known that he was a level 4 pill king, the only result would be getting kidnapped by sections. If he was just level 3 that might have been better, but he reached level 4 and didn't have any power faction to back him up. The only hope was a disaster transformation state Qianbei referral, but were there even disaster transformation state Qianbei in North Far State? Are there disaster transformation state Qianbei in North Far State? Yemo asked. Those who reached disaster transformation state all went to South Peace State to reach truth realization state. Who would want to stay here? Li Yuqian nodded. Yes, according to what I know, there are 3 disaster transformation state cultivators in North Far State. You've probably seen one of them. I've asked Jiling Qianbei. The teleportation formation is controlled by 3 disaster transformation states and 8 cauldron-filling state cultivators. I've seen one? Li Yuqian smiled. You've seen him for sure, but you just don't know. Every time the herb plane opens, Ling Zhongtian Qianbei would go, so you've seen him for sure. Ling Zhongtian? He's disaster transformation state? Yemo asked in shock. Li Yuqian nodded. Yes, Ling Zhongtian is one of the 3 disaster transformation state cultivators. The other 2 are from the 2 8-star sects in North Far State. One is from the moon-seeking sect, Shan Di, the other from Virgin sect Tang Mengrao. Chapter 995, South Peace State Trial Tablet. Chapter 995, South Peace State Trial Tablet. Yemo's side, it seemed relying on others was the most unreliable. Even if he could get the referral, so what? Could he leave Song Yangzhu and the rest behind? It seemed he had to find a way to go there himself, otherwise he would always have to rely on others. To add to that, he didn't know any masters. But when he thought of Luoying and Ning Qingxue, his hands went warm. He was too desperate to meet up with them. Song Yangzhu felt the heat from Yemo's hands and looked at him. She held his hand even tighter, as though if she let go he would go to South Peace State. Yemo knew what she meant. He pulled her hand, signaling her not to worry. Even if he went there, he would come back soon. If he couldn't come back, he would think of ways to take them with him. In addition, Yemo realized that these requirements meant that they wanted the most genius disciples of North Far State. They exerted such efforts to find talented people like this for some reason. No matter what their reason was, raising his own power was the most important. Thinking about this, Yemo gave some pills to the others. Yiling and Song Yangzhu were about to form their cores. Yemo gave them special grade cultivation increasing pills. When Li Jinwen held the Chao Huan pill Yemo gave him, he almost cried out of excitement. He didn't think that this was real. He finally realized how wise his decision was to follow Yemo's. Song Yangzhu knew about what happened with Yemo and felt a little assured. She stayed with Yemo for a night before preparing to form her core. Yemo left Li Yuqian to help Song Yangzhu and Yiling form their cores. He had to concoct large amounts of pills to improve his power. Although he got the Dihua Beast core, it was unsure if he could concoct the Heaven Glory pill. Yemo was also very curious as to what sort of things Emo Qianli and Ao Qilong had in their storage rings. When Yemo came back, MOU started behaving low-key. They gradually retracted their business and stopped expansion. MOU had basically been left to Jin Shaoshan and Yu Qiying. Li Jinwen was preparing to break through to nascent soul state. As for Yemo, he only stayed with Song Yangzhu for one night and went into solitary cultivation. As soon as Yanhai Merchant Association knew that Jiling had gone back to South Peace State, they started investigating what to do with MOU. If MOU continued to expand as it had, there would be no place left for them. Although there was some danger in fighting up power with the support of a disaster transformation state cultivator, the leader of the Yanhai Merchant Association, Yang Yukong, spoke the truth. The reason MOU was supported by that disaster transformation state formation master was because that formation master liked the defense formation of MOU. Now that the disaster transformation state cultivator had returned to South Peace State, he might never come back to North Far State. He might not even remember MOU. Plus, MOU didn't have a hollow spirit state cultivator, so they couldn't go to South Peace State. Yanhai Merchant Association didn't need to be worried. But at this moment, they got news that MOU was starting to retract their business in both advertisement and expansion. Since they realize their situation, it means they're not dumb to the bone. We also need to change our tactics. We'll cook them slowly and take their place after a year or two, Yang Yukong said. At the South Peace State, the South Peace City was very busy. This was the biggest cultivation city in South Peace State, and the most famous place here was the Trial Tablet Square. In South Peace City, there were 5 stone tablets on the Trial Tablet Square. They corresponded to the golden core state, nascent soul state, hollow spirit state, body condensation state, and cauldron filling state. There were no tablets for chi gathering and foundation establishment state. There were few disaster transformation state and truth realization state cultivators, and reaching this level was already a legend in itself. Most people could remember their names, so they didn't need a trial tablet. But one thing was for sure, anyone who reached disaster transformation state and above had once been on these tablets. Each tablet soared into the clouds. The cultivators who wanted to take part in the trial had to come to the tablet matching their cultivation and mark their name. The tablet would rank your power of your marking. Usually, the stronger you were, the higher ranked you were. The tablet could not only judge your cultivation power but also means of attack and even state of will from the word you write. Thus, this was almost like a Hall of Fame ranking. Usually, when someone came to mark their name, the place would get busy but the hype would soon diminish. However, these past few days, the square had been filled. Almost all of the elite disciples of South Peace State came here because these few days were the South Peace City Social. The elite disciples of the sects would come with their qianbais here and discuss about cultivation and trade goods. Everyone was from the elite of the elites. No one thought they were worse than anyone, so the best way to compete was using the trial tablets. Only a rare few cultivators would choose life and death battle due to unresolvable conflicts. This time, this social was mainly for Golden Core State and some nascent soul state cultivators. Before a Golden Core State tablet, a young man in blue shirt looked pridefully at this tablet. His clothes shook without wind, clearly his cultivation essence had surrounded his body. Everyone fell quiet as they looked at this young man, waiting for him to mark his name. A group of women stood at one corner. One baby-faced girl looked very excited and said, "Sister Rome, that blue-shirt Fan Zhongshi is the Golden Core State Hall of Fame #1. Do you think he can get into the top 10 of the trial tablet?" Sister Rong smirked. "Fan Zhongshi is not bad, but there's no way he can get into top 10. It's not bad if he can even get into top 20. Sister Rong, you're third on Golden Core State Hall of Fame. Can you beat that Fong guy on the trial tablet?" the round-faced girl asked expectantly. Sister Rong frowned and thought for a while before shaking her head in dismay. "I can't beat him yet, but half a year later, I think I will be able to." One green-dressed girl suddenly asked, "Sister Rong, who are the top 10? How come even the first of Golden Core State Hall of Fame can't beat them?" Sister Rong smiled. "Martial Sister Beiwei, usually Golden Core State cultivators with some power come and try leave their name here, and then if they reach Nascent Soul State and tried to mark their names on the Nascent Soul State trial tablet, the name on the Golden Core State trial tablet disappears. Some people disappeared after leaving a name on the Golden Core State tablet, so their name stays there." Tang Beiwei asked curiously, "In that case, if you leave behind your name on the tablet, and never go write your name on the Nascent Soul State tablet, your name would stay there forever?" Sister Rong shook her head. "No, after 300 years it would disappear. Except for the person ranked first. No matter which trial tablet it is, the name in first position will never disappear unless someone surpasses him. The top 10 names you see here are all left behind by Golden Core States in the past 3 centuries. But they all disappeared and never left their names on the Nascent Soul State trial tablet." Then she looked at the pale yellow-dressed woman and asked, "Martial Sister Susu, is there something on your mind?" Before she could reply, the blue-shirted youth dashed up into the air in a blue ray of light. Chapter 996, Encounter. Chapter 996, Encounter. Almost everyone's attention was captivated by that blue figure. The intense pressure from the trial tablet could be felt by the observers even from a long way away. 3 meters, 6 meters, 18 meters. Finally, the blue figure seemed bound by that force and slowed down. When he was almost 21 meters in the air, the youth suddenly stopped. It seemed he had reached his limit, and the youth quickly wrote the words Fang Zhongshi on the tablet. Immediately, the words turned into a blue ray of light that immersed into the tablet. When the youth landed, his name appeared on the tablet. He looked at his ranking, Golden Core State 11th. However, that youth shook his head in disappointment. Fang Zhongshe got 11th. Indeed, he's still number 1 to the Golden Core State cultivators of South Peace State. Yeah, the lightning element cultivation method is too powerful. Other than the Qian Bais who have disappeared, he is actually number 1. He doesn't seem too satisfied. Everyone took part in the discussion. However, Fang Zhongshe seemed very calm. Suddenly, he saw a white-clothed woman walk towards a group of girls on the square, and joy shone in his eyes. He quickly followed her. Due to Fang Zhongshe easily getting 11th, many people who wanted to try their luck gave up. Some even made up their mind to get into top 10 no matter what next time. If their ranking was too low, they would just be embarrassing themselves. Lightning Cloud Sect Fang Zhongshe greet Martial Sisters from Black Eye Sect. Fang Zhongshe was very polite and saluted with his fists. Martial Brother Fang is extraordinary indeed, you got 11th as soon as you arrived. This ranking is pretty much number 1. Congratulations. Sister Rong smiled. That round-faced girl looked at Fang Zhongshe in admiration. Fang Zhongshe didn't seem satisfied at all. Martial Sister Rong, my measly accomplishment is nothing to be praised. Even Sister Rome wouldn't perform any worse than me, much less the top 10 Qian Bei. Martial Brother Fang, is your goal to get into the top 10 of Golden Core State Trial Tablet? The round-faced girl asked. Fang Zhongshe nodded seriously. Yes, although I don't hope to reach the top, I must get into top 10 before I reach Nascent Soul State. Then, he looked at the white-clothed woman. However, that woman was talking with 2 other women in joy and didn't notice him at all. Sister Qingxue. Tang Beiwei charged over when the white-clothed woman came. She hugged her tightly. Luoying also came over and the 3 became very excited. This was the first time they had reunited since they split up. Sister Susu Beiwei, I have always wanted to go visit you guys but… Ning Qingshue's eyes went red as she spoke. Luoying was different. If it wasn't something to do with EMO, she would control her emotions no matter how exciting something was, but Tang Beiwei and Yi Ling were different. They showed their emotions on their faces. If possible, Ning Qingxue would rather be with Luoying and Tang Beiwei than be by herself at Ethereal Immortal Pond. When they spoke of EMO, they clearly seemed dejected. With their fame, there was no way EMO wouldn't have known about them if he was in South Peace State, but the fact was that EMO still hadn't come looking. The only explanation was that he wasn't in South Peace State. Fang Zhongshe and Zhao Rong looked at the 3 in surprise. Luo Susu's beauty was known throughout the entire South Peace State, but the people from Black Eye Sect knew how she didn't like to talk. She rarely said anything to anyone other than Tang Beiwei. Zhao Rong also knew that white-clothed woman was Ning Qingxue from Ethereal Immortal Pond, also one of the South Peace State 10 beauties. Usually, the 10 beauties were famous but were rarely close like this. Luoying, Ning Qingxue and Tang Beiwei stood together talking. White, green and pale yellow, the 3 colors were in stark contrast to each other, and almost all the attention from the square focused here. Martial Sister Qingxue, your cultivation speed is really fast, you're already Golden Core State Level 3. Fang Zhongshe suddenly walked over and saluted with his fists. Who are you? Qingxue is not something you can say, Luoying said coldly. Fang Zhongshe felt a little awkward. He believed Luoying was purposely saying that. There was no way anyone here didn't know him. He didn't know that Luoying really didn't know who he was and was just unhappy that he tried to chat up Ning Qingxue. Fang Zhongshe was a gentleman and smiled. Lightning Cloud Sect Fang Zhongshe, greeting Black Eye Sect Martial Sister Luo Susu. His tone was genuine and didn't seem flirty at all. Luoying frowned and wanted to take Tang Beiwei and Ning Qingxue to another place to talk when she heard someone else say, Martial Sister Susu, I didn't think you were here too. Another group of people walked over. The man leading them wore faint purple cultivator robes. In terms of looks and temperament, he was even better than Fang Zhongshe. Luoying didn't say anything at all and was just going to drag Ning Qingxue and Tang Beiwei away. Martial Sister Susu, this is Infinity Sect's #1 disciple Yuan Guanan. He's only 36, but he's already nascent soul state level 2. Zhao Rong quickly stopped Luo Ying and introduced. Infinity was the top sect in the entire Luo Yu continent. Black Eye sect was also a 9-star sect, but they were far from Infinity sect's level. Susu didn't really like talking to these people, but she couldn't act like she didn't see Zhao Rong. Qingxue. At this moment, another girl who came with Ning Qingxue asked, Martial sister Qingxue, they are? The girl came from Ethereal Immortal Pond. She asked this question in confusion after seeing Ning Qingxue suddenly being so talkative with two girls. Haha, everyone here is from the elite of South Peace State. Everyone will be the future powerful beings of South Peace State. Let me introduce you, Yuan Guanan said. He pointed at Luo Ying and the others and said, They are Black Eye Sect's Luo Susu and Tang Bei Wei, and Ethereal Immortal Pond's Ning Qingxue. They are part of the most beautiful 10 girls of South Peace State. Behind them are core disciples of Black Eye Sect Zhao Rong and Wang Weiner. Martial sister Zhao Rong is Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 3 and this good-looking blue-shirt brother. The blue-shirt youth stood straight and said, Lightning Cloud Sect Fang Zhongshe, greetings friends. With this, more and more cultivators were introduced. A gray-clothed handsome cultivator also walked out and saluted with his fists. Golden Sword Sect Xiao Fei, this is my sister Xiao Serene. People discussed. Golden Sword Sect Xiao Fei, Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 2. He didn't go to the trial tablet. I think if he tried he would be at least top 20. His sister is the 5th-ranked beauty of South Peace State, Xiao Serene. Infinity Sect's Dong Tianya. Godwind Valley's Mo Feng. More and more names were said. Everyone was the elite of their sections. Luo Susu, you didn't disappoint me indeed. You're already Golden Core State Level 4. I will wait for you 1 year. When your Golden Core State peak stage, I, Wen Sai, will challenge you again. Chapter 997, Looking for Trouble. Chapter 997, Looking for Trouble. Luo Ying looked coldly at Wen Sai and said, If you think you're strong, go challenge the people at Hall of Fame. I don't like to talk to people I don't know. Luo Ying never understood why this extremely beautiful woman wanted to challenge her all the time. If it was for Yuan Guanan, Luo Ying felt that was even more absurd. She didn't have any intention towards pursuing this Yuan. There was a very strange feeling as soon as the two started talking. Both were ranked top of the South Peace State 10 beauties, but why did there seem to be conflict in their tone as soon as they met? Ning Qingxue studied Wen Sai. She was even a little taller than her and Luo Ying. Her hair was shoulder length and her extremely beautiful face was somewhat prideful. Her skin wasn't even as white as Beiwei's, but there was a unique feminine attraction about her. It was as though if someone looked at her, he would never be able to move his eyes away. From Ning Qingxue's perspective, Wen Sai was very beautiful but just a little lacking compared to Susu. At most, she was at her level. Wen Sai, Susu's sister has never seen you before. Why do you want to challenge her? Ning Qingxue frowned and asked unhappily. I don't like being ranked the same as someone. I will let everyone know that there's only one first place in the South Peace State 10 beauties. Wen Sai said calmly. Yuan Guanan looked unhappily at Wen Sai and said, Sai, don't talk like that. Wen Sai sneered and ignored Yuan Guanan. Luo Ying looked calmly at Wen Sai. I never thought I was some South Peace State top 10 beauty. If you like the fame, then take it. Qingxue and Beiwei don't care about it either. If you want it, then take it. No one would come to take it from you. From today on, don't include us in some South Peace State 10 beauties. If you're bored, you can find someone else to challenge. I'm not as bored as you. Qingxue, Beiwei, let's go. Then Luo Ying pulled Ning Qingxue and Tang Beiwei's hands and turned to leave. Everyone was dazed that Luo Susu didn't care about the fame, but what right did she have for Ning Qingxue and Tang Beiwei to quit the South Peace State 10 beauties? The surprising thing was they didn't object and left willingly with Luo Ying. Wen Sai was stunned for a moment but stopped Luo Susu again. Good, you have this self-awareness, but there are some men you can't touch. Even if you dare to touch, I will take it back and I will challenge you. Sai. Yuan Guanan said unhappily, clearly thinking when Sai was talking about him. Luoying was soft on the outside but tough on the inside. She felt contempt at picking fights with someone like Wen Sai. Her tone turned cold. I have a husband and I will only touch my husband. No one can take him from me, you are no exception. Other than my husband, even if you take all the men in the world, it has nothing to do with me. Everyone was shaken, no one expected the first beauty to have a husband already. Many of those who admired Luoying fell into an ice cave. Although they knew they stood no chance even if she wasn't married, that didn't affect them feeling this way. Su, you're married already? Yuan Guanan's face went pale. His tone was getting shaky. Who is he? Who? Luo Susu didn't even look at him and left. Wen Sai was shocked for a few moments, and her face grew unsightly. Luo Susu didn't even fight her but completely defeated her with just a few words. Even if she took all the men in the world, it has nothing to do with her? This was clearly saying that she was a promiscuous woman. When Sai's face sunk, she wasn't implying about Yuan Guanan because only she knew who it was, but Luo Susu's words hurt her. She swore in her heart that no matter who your husband was, I will let you know that no one can stop me from getting the man I want. Perhaps one day, I will steal your husband and then kick him back to you. Then you will know the difference between us. Yemo had come out of solitary cultivation after a month and was greeted Yiling and Song Yangzhu, who had reached Golden Core State. Yemo was very happy that the two had both reached Golden Core State. He was just about to give them the Golden Core State cultivation resources, but felt a powerful spirit chi whirlpool explode outside Peihai City. Brother, that's caused by brotherly forming his nascent soul. Master and Sister Shan both went to see, let's go have a look too, Yiling said. With this, MOU's power would rise up another level. Thinking about this, Yemo released the flying ship and took Song Yangzhu and Yiling outside Peihai City. At this moment, a few thousands kilometers outside Peihai City, many cultivators had gathered and more were coming. Although there were a lot of nascent soul state cultivators in Peihai City, there were mostly Golden Core State and Foundation Establishment State cultivators here. No one wanted to miss this opportunity. Li Jingwen sat in the center of a simple spirit gathering formation. Li Yuqian and Jin Shaoshan were anxiously protecting him. The understanding cultivators stood 3 kilometers away, but there were a few Golden Core State cultivators who didn't care at all that someone was forming their nascent soul. They stayed very close and had a casual look on their faces. Yemo was furious seeing this. Forming the nascent soul required absolute focus and no interruptions at all. Li Jingwen didn't even have a defense formation. Master! Hearing Yiling's call, Li Yuqian and the others turned back to see Yemo. Finally, their anxious faces eased up. Yemo flew over and saluted with his fists to the cultivators around. Friends, today is our MOU's manager Li forming his nascent soul. Thanks for visiting, but please retreat to a distance of 5 kilometers. I need to set up a formation. MOU's Yemo thanks you all. MOU's Yemo? He's the owner of MOU that's always nowhere to be seen? How is he only Golden Core State level 5? It's probably him, but don't underestimate him. When he was Golden Core State level 2, he easily killed Golden Core State middle stage cultivators. So that's it. Most cultivators started to retreat. The breakthrough of higher states were the most important thing for cultivators. Anyone who tried to impede them was the most serious enemy. But while most of the people retreated 5 kilometers, there were still 5 Golden Core State cultivators who stood closer. They were very close, only 1 kilometer from Li Jingwen. This distance was enough to threaten Li Jingwen's breakthrough. Yemo dumped a few formation flags and looked coldly at them. Why are you still here? Haha. The Golden Core State peak stage amongst the 5 laughed wildly. What a joke, what's his breakthrough got to do with me? Is this place yours? A mere Golden Core State level 5 dares to clear the scene. Yemo threw down a few more formation flags and said, You guys need to think this through. Once I set up the formation, you won't be able to leave. What, do you want to fight? Oh, I understand, you have a nascent soul state cultivator. Very well, you're welcome to attack. Our Yanhai Merchant Association seems to have many more nascent soul state cultivators than MOU. You only have one and you dare to tell us to go away? A Golden Core State Level 8 sneered. By now, even the onlookers realized that these 5 were here to cause trouble. It seems MOU doesn't have it easy. Yanhai Merchant Association really has conflict with them. Clearly, otherwise they wouldn't send people here to obstruct the breakthrough. Impeding one's Tao foundation is a huge taboo. Yemo didn't bother trying to persuade them. He threw out more formation flags and countless spirit stones. No one could tell what formation Yemo was setting up, but as Yemo threw more formation flags, the spirit chi nearby seemed to thicken and Li Jingwen gradually grew blurry. Eventually, even the 5 cultivators from Yanhai Merchant Association became blurry. Chapter 998, Using Lightning to Kill You. Chapter 998, Using Lightning to Kill You. When the 5 cultivators couldn't see the outside anymore, they realized that EMO really dared to trap them. But even so, they weren't worried at all. MOU wouldn't dare to do anything to Yanhai Merchant Association. In the end, the 5 couldn't even see each other. Not good, we're trapped. Let's work together and break the formation. The Golden Core State Peak Stage yelled. But no one responded to him. The 5 were clearly separated by the formation. Now, the Golden Core State Peak Stage began to worry. It seemed that MOU didn't care if they were from the Yanhai Merchant Association or not. Just as he was about to yell Yumo's name, the sky suddenly darkened. 9 chopstick-sized lightning bolts flashed in the sky. Yemo helped Li Jingwen strengthen the spirit-gathering formation while setting up the lightning attraction formation. This time, the lightning attraction formation wasn't for himself but for the 5 Golden Core State cultivators. Previously, he had helped Li Yuqian take some lightning bolts. Now, the 5 Golden Core State cultivators needed to do it. Yemo was sure that the 5 couldn't absorb lightning source like him. Once the final lightning bolt struck down, they would be dead for sure. Li Jingwen's situation was different than Li Yuqian's. He had 2 top-grade defense spirit artifacts, as well as the 5 altruistic Golden Core State cultivators. Yemo wasn't worried at all. After Yemo set up the formation, he came out. He didn't want to stay in there for too long and make people think too much. Seeing Yemo exit alone without the 5 Golden Core State cultivators, everyone was bewildered, but the lightning was beginning to get crazy. Their attention was focused on that, and they soon forgot about the 5 Golden Core State cultivators. Association Leader Yi, how come our men from Yanhai Merchant Association haven't come out? Another Golden Core State Peak Stage came out and asked in a disrespectful tone. Yemo sneered and suddenly raised his voice. You really talk oddly. Just then, I was helping my manager set up a defensive formation and told your men to come out. They said that this place didn't belong to MOU and I have no right to tell them where to stand. I believe so too, so I came out alone. But as soon as I come out, you guys reproach me. This is overtly looking for trouble. Are you going to start trouble either way if I let them out or not? With this, most people watching couldn't take it anymore. They didn't dare to openly offend the Yanhai Merchant Association, but there was gossip spreading. Yumo's voice was loud, causing almost all the cultivators to hear and curse the Yanhai Merchant Association for being so domineering. The 2 Golden Core State cultivator knew they were being unreasonable. After all, everyone heard that the 5 Golden Core State cultivators didn't want to come out. The formation rumbled inside. Even if they suspected something, they had no evidence. Plus, after Yemo came out, there was only Li Jingwen by himself. There was no way he could fight 5 Golden Core State cultivators while forming his nascent soul. Rumble rumble lightning flashed in the sky non-stop. A few cultivators felt it strange that Yemo had added a stealth formation to the defensive formation. After all, stealth formations were of no use when dealing with divine damnation. They would only serve as a waste of spirit stones. As more and more lightning fell, people realized that the rumbling was getting less and less. Crack, the last thumb-sized lightning bolt struck and a huge spirit chi whirlpool gathered in the sky. Seeing this, everyone knew that the breakthrough was successful. Otherwise, such a huge spirit chi whirlpool wouldn't amass. Yemo started to pack up his formation. He wasn't going to let anyone see the lightning attraction formation. As long as he took the formation flags, no one would be able to tell what he did. Even if they guessed that he set the 5 up, there was no evidence. When everyone looked at the 5 cultivators who had gone in, they were shaken. They had turned into 5 charred bodies. They're dead? The Golden Core State peak stage questioning Yemo suddenly called in shock. He suddenly pointed at Yemo and yelled, You dared to kill our Yanhai Merchant Association people, you. In his fury, he couldn't even form a complete sentence. Yemo was prepared to use Shadowless to sneak attack if there was someone still alive. But now that the 5 were all dead, there was no need. Hearing this Golden Core State cultivator's words, he immediately sneered and stood up, saluting with his fists to the people nearby. Friends, I'd invited these 5 to come out before, but they didn't want to come out. Now that they got caught in someone else's divine damnation, am I to blame for this? Is the Yanhai Merchant Association such an unreasonable place? Yeah, the Yanhai Merchant Association is being too unreasonable. Association leader, you didn't even take long to set up the formation. How can he kill 5 Golden Core State cultivators in such a short time? They were clearly killed by the divine damnation. Haha, we all know this, there's no need to say it clearly. They're just doing this for MOU's land. A Golden Core State level 5 instantly killed 5 cultivators much stronger than him. The Yanhai cultivators only seemed to know how to do business. Although they didn't dare to offend the Yanhai Merchant Association, they still dared to discuss. Hearing this, the 2 Yanhai Merchant Association Golden Core State cultivators were furious. No one was helping the Yanhai Merchant Association at all. After all, everyone heard and saw clearly what they just did. They only knew how to do business? This was mocking their battle power. Li Jinwen suddenly got up and howled. His clothes were tattered, but none of his top-grade spirit artifacts were. From the howl he made, everyone could tell he was a real nascent soul state cultivator now. Under countless gazes of admiration, Li Jinwen took out a new set of clothes and walked to Yemo. Association leader, I didn't disappoint you. I've reached nascent soul state. Yemo was really happy. MOU was getting stronger and stronger. However, he knew that although he hid the assassination of the 5 Golden Core State cultivators really well, any clever person would be able to tell he was behind it. This place wasn't suitable to stay at. When he got back, he needed to think about how to fight with the Yanhai Merchant Association. Ever since the 5 Golden Core State cultivators didn't want to leave Li Jingwen's divine damnation range, Yemo had made up his mind to kill them. He had already made a retreat in business, but Yanhai was still chasing them closely. There was no other path of survival for MOU. If they were going to fight sooner or later, he might as well do it now. Seeing that Li Jinwen was done here, Yemo said, Let's go back and talk. What, you want to leave just like that after killing our Yanhai Merchant Association's people? An icy voice sounded. Chapter 999, Save Your Farts for When You Go Home. Chapter 999, Save Your Farts for When You Go Home. Everyone looked at the person who just spoke. Yemo's heart sunk. It was a nascent soul state level 3 cultivator. He had 2 nascent soul state cultivators on his side, but they were both only nascent soul state level 1. Even if they could beat the nascent soul state level 3, Yanhai would have more coming while he only had 2. Even though they knew he killed the 5 cultivators, Yemo wasn't going to admit it. Thinking about this, Yemo said, There are so many friends watching here, and your Yanhai Merchant Association also has people watching. I don't understand when you saw me killing your people. Am I supposed to be responsible for them getting caught in nascent soul state divine damnation when they didn't want to come out? That nascent soul state cultivator clearly just arrived and didn't know what happened, besides the fact that a few people died. Hearing Yemo's words, he frowned and looked at the 2 Golden Core State from his side. The 2 didn't dare to hide anything. After all, There were too many cultivators here, they would be exposed as soon as they told any lies. After questioning them, the nascent soul state turned and said coldly to Emo, "So this means you set up a trap formation making them unable to come out?" Emo sneered. "Set up a trap formation so they couldn't come out? This is the funniest joke I've heard. I set up a defensive formation and your men didn't want to come out. There are so many people here, ask any of them. Plus, I only set up a level 3 formation, do you think that can stop 5 golden core state cultivators? This is too funny." The nascent soul state cultivator frowned, he didn't doubt Yemo's words. With Yemo's age, a level 3 formation would be the best he could do, and that was indeed not enough to stop 5 golden core state tertiary stage cultivators. Yemo didn't see that amongst the crowd of cultivators, there was a golden core state peak stage with a strange smile on his face, thinking, it was clearly a level 4 trap formation, yet he calls it a level 3 defense formation. Interesting, such a young level 4 formation master, it's the first time I've seen this. At this moment, Li Yuqian and the rest came to Yemo's side. The nascent soul state cultivator saw the 2 nascent soul states and grew more hesitant. He was nascent soul state level 3, but he couldn't say he could win against the 2 for sure. Yemo wasn't going to hesitate like him, he immediately said to Li Yuqian and others, "Sisterly, let's go." He took out his flying ship and the 6 got on. Immediately, they went back to Peihai City. Yemo was so desperate to get back to MOU because there were complete formations he had set up there as well as teleportation formation. Even if he was no match for the Yanhai Merchant Association, he could leave easily. As soon as Yemo left, the people watching left as well. The Yanhai nascent soul state cultivator had a bleak face and took the 2 golden core state peak stage cultivators into Peihai City too. Both he and Yemo knew that this matter wasn't settled. The reason he hadn't attacked yet was that he wasn't quite sure what the association leader of the Yanhai Merchant Association's will was. As soon as Yemo got back to MOU, he immediately gave out cultivation pills, especially Soul Essence pill. He gave multiple bottles to Li Jingwen and Li Yuqian. He was going to continue perfecting the formation. Due to being limited by resources, he could previously just barely upgrade the defense and attack formation to level 4. But now, he acquired Qihong's storage ring and the first thing he was going to do was upgrade the formation to level 5. Level 4 formations were sufficient against nascent soul state cultivators. But Yemo didn't believe that the Yanhai Merchant Association didn't have a hollow spirit state cultivator. How could the number 1 merchant association in Peihai City be without a hollow spirit state cultivator? Yemo rebuilt the formation in the guest hall. If the people from Yanhai came to threaten them, the venue would be the guest hall. That might be the first battleground. Yemo also had another reason to do this. It was to let everyone know that MOU wasn't to be easily messed with. If he didn't completely beat down Yanhai Merchant Association, then after he left Peihai and went to South Peace State, people would still scheme against MOU. But what Yemo didn't expect was that after 2 days passed and Yemo had upgraded all the formations to level 5, there was still no one arriving from Yanhai Merchant Association. Still, Yemo didn't worry and told everyone to cultivate. If anyone asked, he instructed them to say that the formations were taught and set up by Jiling Qianbei. If he wasn't waiting for the people to come, he would have already gone into solitary cultivation to reach Golden Core State Peak Stage. No one knew that he had made the Heaven Glory pill, and 9 pills at that. But Yemo was helpless due to the fact that there weren't any more Dihua Beast cores, so he couldn't concoct more. On the 5th day, when Yemo was almost getting impatient, Xing Yizheng said that the Yanhai Merchant Association people were here. There was a group of 11 people. Yemo breathed easy. He was afraid that these people wouldn't come. If they used some other means, he really didn't have a good way to deal with it. With Yanhai Merchant Association's dominance, since they made up their mind to annihilate MOU, they would do it up front. This time, Yemo killed 5 of their people, giving them an excuse. "Did you go notify Peihai City Lord Estate?" Yemo asked. He had already ordered if that Yanhai Merchant Association came, the first thing to do other than reporting to him was to notify the city lord estate. Yemo knew that in order to survive and pay high, they had to succumb to one side until they had a certain level of power. Yemo chose the city lord estate for two reasons. Firstly, they didn't have any direct conflict of interests, and second, that as long as he notified them, even if they didn't come, they couldn't say they didn't know. Xing Yizhong nodded. When the Yanhai Merchant Association people came, I already sent someone to notify them. The manager there said that it's not suitable for them to get involved in the matters between us and Yanhai Merchant Association. Yemo sneered. He had expected this and said to Xing Yizhong, "Call out Sister Li and Manager Li, get ready for battle." Yemo knew that the conditions Yanhai Merchant Association would set would be extremely unreasonable. He didn't need to ask to know there was no chance of compliance. It was either MOU leave Peihai City or submit to them. As for whether they could even leave safely, it was still up to the Yanhai Merchant Association. Yemo, Liu Qian, Li Jingwen, and Jin Shaoshan came to the guest hall and found 11 cultivators there. Seeing their power levels, Yemo's eyes twitched. There were 5 Golden Core State Peak Stage, 3 Nascent Soul State Tertiary Stage and Middle Stage, 2 Golden Core State Tertiary Stage, and what shook Yemo the most was that there was even 1 Hollow Spirit State Cultivator. That Hollow Spirit State Cultivator sat at the top, and the 10 cultivators sat by his side. He saw Yemo and the rest come in and sneered, saying coldly, "Since you came, have a seat." It was as though they owned this place. Li Jingwen was going to talk, but Yemo stopped her and sat down first. He didn't talk. He didn't need to be afraid in here. There was a level 5 trap and attack formation. Yemo believed that if they manned the formation, they could trap and kill the 11 people even if they had a Hollow Spirit State Cultivator. "You're quite bold." That Hollow Spirit State saw Yemo didn't seem scared at all and sneered. Yemo suddenly took out 4 jade cups and a jade kettle. He poured an aromatic liquid into the 4 cups and handed the other 3 to Li Jingwen, Li Yuqian, and Jin Shaoshan. "Sister Li, have a taste of this, it's good." Then Yemo drank from his cup and closed his eyes in enjoyment for a while. Finally, he looked at the Hollow Spirit State Cultivator and sneered. "If you have words, then hurry up and say them. Save your farts for when you go back." Chapter 1000 Killing Hollow Spirit State. Chapter 1000 Killing Hollow Spirit State. After first trapping Li Rua, Yemo couldn't join his illusion cloud strikes together, but he was eventually able to use it however he wanted. The illusion cloud formation kill strike had developed to the point he could hurt Li Rua with the sword rays. Li Rua was furious, but he was getting more and more shocked. If he hadn't experienced what he had gone through today, he would never believe that a Golden Core State Cultivator could hurt him. But the fact was that this Golden Core State Cultivator's sword technique was not only bizarre, but the sword rays that shot up from that purple kitchen knife had formed a sword ray formation. This formation was not fluent to begin with, but eventually it became more and more solid. A Golden Core State Cultivator could form his sword rays into the equivalent of a level 3 attack formation. How absurd was this? Clearly, he was at least a level 4 formation Grandmaster. Thinking about the fact that Yemo was a formation Grandmaster, Li Rua began to sweat more and more. It was absurd, but this was indeed the first time he felt fear towards a Golden Core State Cultivator. He had already realized that this formation wasn't set up by that South Peace State Disaster Transformation State Cultivator. It was set up by this Golden Core State Cultivator. In this formation, he was forced to remain very passive and could only try to break free. He had no room to counterattack. Due to this, Yemo was already in an undefeatable position. If Yemo really set up this trap and attack formation, then Yemo was a real level 5 formation Great Master. He had to go out quickly, otherwise, even if he was Hollow Spirit State, he would surely be killed in the end. Yemo also felt unhappy. He took all the opportunities he could and put Li Rua at such a disadvantage, but he still couldn't damage Li Rua seriously. If this went on, his formation might not last till the moment he killed Li Rua. Hollow Spirit State Cultivators were indeed strong. They weren't something he could kill, even with a level 5 formation. Luckily, he upgraded the formation to level 5 without conserving materials, or Li Rua would have long broken free. His illusion cloud formation kill strike was powerful, but it didn't do enough damage to this high-level cultivator. Emo was already thinking of ways to improve his illusion cloud formation kill strike. He thought that if he formed the sword rays into a real sword, would the power increase drastically? But would that increase the toll on his spirit sense? Suddenly, he heard Li Rua howl in pain. He felt his sword ray immersed into Li Rua's body. The beams from the formation also passed through his body. Li Rua was no longer able to attack the formation. Yanhai Merchant Association won't let you go, he struggled to say before falling dead to the ground. Emo sneered and took out the rainbow's soul-devouring flag and swept it out. The hollow spirit state cultivator's soul was stronger than that of a nascent soul state cultivator. His attack killed Li Rua, but he had already seen Li Rua use a soul-forbidden technique to escape. Not everyone knew how to do this, but high-level cultivators knew a little. Arg! Before Li Rua could beg for mercy, his soul was devoured by the rainbow's soul-devouring flag. Clearly, the lethal blow wasn't struck by Emo but by Liu Qian. Those 10 cultivators were already dead. Liu Qian's face was pale. She had used her forbidden technique and hurt herself as well. She shook her head and said weakly, "A bit longer and that hollow spirit state might have broken free. In that case, all of MOU would have fallen with us." Then Liu Qian took out a life essence pill and ate it before sitting down. She said to Emo, "Our battle with Yanhai Merchant Association has just begun. They lost a hollow spirit state and many nascent soul state cultivators, which was more than half of their power, but their association leader Yan Yukong is a hollow spirit state middle stage cultivator. We need to be prepared." Then Li Yuqian started recovering her cultivation essence. Emo nodded and took Li Rua's storage ring. Li Jinwen and the others had handed over the rest of the storage ring. Emo waved his hand. "Let's sisterly distribute these later. Take out what you need, put the rest into MOU's storage. Take a break too, that Yan Yukong won't let things go here. I need to lay the formation down again." After this battle, Emo gained a better understanding of the power of hollow spirit state cultivators. Just a level 5 trap and kill formation plus his golden core state level 5 power wasn't enough to kill a hollow spirit state. Emo grit his teeth and used up all of Qihang's materials. He laid a few more kill formations in MOU. "If 1 was not enough, I'll use 2, if 2's not enough I'll use 3. I don't believe that a level 5 formation can't do anything to a hollow spirit state middle stage." Emo thought that at this moment, no one would come and find them. Even if there were, it would be people from the Yanhai Merchant Association. But as soon as Emo came out, Suyu said someone had come to find him. It was a golden core state peak stage cultivator. He looked like he was in his 50s, with a broad face and big eyes. He was clearly an astute person. "Association Leader Yi, I'm Puyu Feng, a solo cultivator. I hope you don't mind my sudden arrival." The middle-aged man saluted with his fists. Emo didn't know what this guy was here for, so he said plainly, "Brother Pu wouldn't be unaware of MOU's predicament right now. Since other people don't dare to come, why would you?" Puyu Feng sat down and said, "Of course I know MOU's predicament, and I even know that the Yanhai Merchant Association cultivators looking for trouble here probably won't make it back." Emo was surprised. It was just moments ago that he killed them. How did this Puyu Feng know? Puyu Feng said again, "I wasn't too confident before, but when I came to MOU, I was sure. To be honest, Association Leader Yi is the biggest genius I have ever seen. A few days ago, I saw Association Leader Yi use level 3 trap formation to kill the 5 Yanhai Merchant Association cultivators. I thought Association Leader Yi was a level 4 formation great master, but it seems now that I was gravely mistaken." Emo was shaken. He didn't expect this Puyu Feng to be able to see through him. It seemed he really couldn't underestimate the cultivators of the world. There were powerful cultivators everywhere, but they just didn't want to show it. Yemo was grateful that Pu Yufeng didn't expose him on the spot, but he knew that this guy had some request that he was bringing this up. No matter what, if he used Yanhai Merchant Association to threaten him, there was no need to talk anymore. Yemo believed this person wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. Yemo smiled. He felt this Pu Yufeng didn't have any ill will at least. He said, "Brother Pu, if you have anything to say, just say it." "Okay, in that case I will." Pu Yufeng sat down again. Chapter 1001, Mysterious MOU. Chapter 1001, Mysterious MOU. According to the information I have, you're the newest pill concoction Hall of Fame #1, but you offended Ghost Immortal Sect and thus you sought asylum here. Perhaps you even wanted to go South Peace State. Pu Yufeng looked at Yemo and said. Yemo sneered on the inside. He didn't try to promote his name, but he knew that if someone really looked into him, they would find this out. Even if Ghost Immortal Sect came, he wasn't afraid. He heard that they only had one hollow spirit state. He could kill the Yanhai Merchant Association's hollow spirit state cultivator, so he could also kill Ghost Immortal Sect's hollow spirit state cultivator. If he dared to come, he would just kill him. As for Immortal Treasure Tower and All Pill Tower, he wasn't even worried at all. It was just people lower down in the power pyramid that had enmity with him. They wouldn't all come over. Plus, he believed that if he kicked Yanhai Merchant Association away, then Peihai City would form an alliance with him. Once that happened, he believed that ordinary powers wouldn't dare to come say anything, not even the Ghost Immortal Sect. Seeing Yemo's sneer, Pu Yufeng quickly said, "I'm not intending to use this news to exchange anything. I know that since you're here, you aren't be afraid of the Ghost Immortal Sect. I'm just making a deal with Association Leader Yi. If you agree then great, but if not then pretend I never came. No one would know about those things." Yemo didn't want this guy to look too bad since he was smart and saw through things clearly, so he asked. "Just be straightforward then. Since MOU is publicly staying here, we've never planned to be scared of anyone." Pu Yufeng felt Yemo's discomfort and smiled bitterly. "Association Leader, you would know that the journey to South Peace State is very difficult. Even Hollow Spirit State have to be under 300 years old. Ordinary people won't be able to access the teleportation formation to South Peace State at all. But if Brother Yu wants to go to South Peace State, I have a way." Yemo was startled. This ordinary Golden Core State cultivator had a way to the South Peace State. Why didn't he go himself then? The South Peace State was much better than North Far State. Pu Yufeng continued. "Association Leader, you probably heard that if you want to go if you're not yet Hollow Spirit State, then you need the recommendation of a North Far State Disaster Transformation State. You have a way for a Disaster Transformation State to recommend me?" Yemo asked him. Pu Yufeng nodded. "Yes, although I don't have a way for Disaster Transformation State Cultivator to directly recommend you, I have a way for them to find you and ask you for help. Then you can make your request." Yemo didn't ask how. He stayed calm and asked, "Tell me, what is your condition?" Hearing this, Pu Yufeng's face turned red and he seemed excited as he said, "I want a pill to reach nascent soul state, either Chao Huan pill or soul condensation pill." Yemo replied, "MOU is just a newly started small merchant association. Do you think we can provide this sort of pill?" As though knowing Yemo would say this, Pu Yufeng took out a formation disc and put it in front of Yemo before saying, "Plus this formation disc, it's passed down from my ancestors. Our family is a formation master family, but my generation has far less formation prowess than that of our ancestors." Level 6 defense formation disc? Yemo was shook again. He was already a level 5 formation grandmaster, but he could only make level 3 and level 4 formation discs. He didn't have the materials for level 5 formation disc, but even if he did he wouldn't be able to make one, yet Pu Yufeng had taken out a level 6 formation disc. Even without the Disaster Transformation State Cultivator's recommendation, just this level 6 formation disc was enough. Yemo grabbed it and studied it for a long time before sighing. "It's a level 6 defense formation disc indeed. Each time it's sold it costs 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. It's a big money drain. Pu Yufeng smiled awkwardly. He knew that it was a powerful item and he could get a very good price for it, but he was only in golden core state. If he tried to sell something this powerful he might be killed straight away. He made up his mind to find Emo after seeing that Mo's defense formation was already level 5. He believed that a level 5 formation Great Master wouldn't kill someone for a formation disc. Plus, he had made some preparations too. Okay, deal. Here is a Chao Huan pill. Emo didn't even ask about going to South Peace State, and gave a Chao Huan pill to Pu Yufeng. Pu Yufeng still couldn't believe he just got the Chao Huan pill. His hands were shaking with excitement. It's a special grade Chao Huan pill? Pu Yufeng's tone was shaky. Emo studied it for a while before putting it away and asked, I'm very curious how you knew I had the Chao Huan pill. Pu Yufeng collected his emotions and actually became respectful and fearful of Emo. He said carefully, When Li Qianbei was with Association Leader Yi, she was only Golden Core State tertiary stage power but reached nascent soul state in a short time. Not long ago, Manager Li reached nascent soul state too. Emo understood this and began to frown. If Pu Yufeng could think of this, other people could as well. But then Emo thought if he could even kill hollow spirit state cultivators, why would he care about other golden core state and nascent soul state cultivators? Pu Yufeng got up and saluted with his fists to Emo. Association Leader Yi, I will get the disaster transformation state cultivator to find you as quickly as possible. Emo nodded and sent Pu Yufeng away. He was desperate to go to South Peace State, but even if he got the recommendation it would only be for him alone. He was very conflicted. At the door, Pu Yufeng suddenly turned around and said to Emo, Association Leader Yi, if the people who came before from the Yanhai Merchant Association can't leave then you don't need to worry because the association leader Yang Yukon had gone to South Peace State. He won't be back for a few years. There are only 2 nascent soul state cultivators here now. Thank you. Emo heard this and breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed he didn't need to worry. After a few years, with his supply of pills, who's to say that MOU wouldn't have their own hollow spirit state? As the conflict between MOU and Yanhai Merchant Association was still being discussed, MOU suddenly started doing business and shone light on something unexpected. That was that Yanhai Merchant Association took a hollow spirit state and 5 nascent soul state as well as 5 golden core state cultivators and robbed MOU's leaders' belongings. This shook everyone's minds, but no one doubted it as it was recorded on a crystal ball. The item's name was removed but everyone knew that it was precious and that's why the name was removed. In this instance, Peihai City was in an uproar. A hollow spirit state went up and robbed a golden core state cultivator's things, and said so what if he robbed what he wanted? Yanhai Merchant Association's fame was instantly degraded. This wasn't the end, MOU also brought up a condition. That was that Yanhai Merchant Association must compensate and apologize to MOU. They must give up their land and compensate him with 100 million spirit stones. How dare a newly emerged merchant association dare to ask for this and kick Yanhai Merchant Association out of Peihai? But things weren't so simple. Soon, people noticed that the 11 cultivators who went into MOU hadn't appeared since then. Immediately, MOU became very mysterious. Chapter 1002, Coming to the Door. Chapter 1002, Coming to the Door. The news that a hollow spirit state cultivator robbed something from a golden core state cultivator was now publicly spread. However, that hollow spirit state cultivator didn't come to rebuke the accusations and hadn't emerged after entering MOU. The reason for this was clear, that hollow spirit state cultivator was silently done in by MOU. No power faction dared to underestimate an entity that could quietly kill a hollow spirit state cultivator. Plus, that hollow spirit state cultivator had brought 5 nascent soul state cultivators along as well. People were guessing how powerful MOU really was. After all, they could even kill a hollow spirit state cultivator. This caused people to begin to fear MOU. Hollow Spirit State Cultivator weren't considered anything in the South Peace State, but in the North Far State, they were the top of the food chain. Are you sure that he never came out after going to MOU? A middle-aged man at the City Lord Estate asked a manager-like cultivator. That manager replied respectfully, "Yes, I'm sure. When he went to MOU, people from MOU immediately came to ask for help. I told them that we couldn't intervene in this according to your will. They didn't say much and immediately left." Interesting. The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes. This was the second time that he said this Golden Core State cultivator was interesting. Hearing this, the manager asked carefully, "Then should we go to MOU to check on the situation?" The middle-aged man didn't say anything but asked after a while, "You said that they recorded the robbery and made the conditions for Yanhai Merchant Association to leave Peihai City as well as compensate them 100 million top-grade spirit stones." "Yes." The manager nodded quickly. The middle-aged man nodded and said, "In that case we don't need to be hasty. A mere Golden Core State cultivator killed the Hollow Spirit State cultivator with his formations. It's not bad, but it's not worth us going to visit him. Wait for a while and see how Yanhai Merchant Association deals with this situation." As soon as he said this, a seductive-looking woman came in and reported, "City Lord Manager Wang, Yanhai Merchant Association's people are asking to see you." The middle-aged man laughed and said, "Tell them what we told MOU before." Then he paused and said to Manager Wang, "Investigate that YMO. Why does this name sound familiar? The Yanhai Merchant Association people didn't come for revenge, but they didn't agree to MOU's conditions." YMO didn't go up to Yanhai Merchant Association to ask them for reparations because he knew that they still had two nascent soul state cultivators. One was the nascent soul state level 3 they met outside the city, and the other was nascent soul state level 2. Even if YMO wanted to go up to them, he needed to wait for a while until Li Jingwen and Li Yuqian reached nascent soul state level 2 or level 3. They had soul essence pills and blue carrot pills. It wouldn't take much time. Things seemed to go back to how they were before, the only difference being that MOU was still the same while Yanhai Merchant Association was shrinking down their business. YMO went into solitary cultivation again. This time it wasn't for pill concoction he wanted to break through. He had 9 Heaven Glory pills and wanted to get to Golden Core State Peak Stage as quickly as possible. In Mo Qianli's storage ring, there was a heaven-grade evil soul strand cultivation method and a few extreme-grade materials, but he didn't even have 1 million top-grade spirit stones. YMO glanced through the cultivation method. It used evil ways of cultivating live souls. Each soul strand the cultivator got was formed from countless innocent people. When he fought Mo Qianli, he had countless evil soul strands. From this, one could see how many innocent lives he had taken. YMO hated these evil cultivation methods the most. He turned it into dust and cursed Mo Qianli for being so poor. However, Ao Qilong's storage ring shook YMO greatly. There were more than 2 million top-grade spirit stones and large amounts of pills. YMO thought, this young master of the Ao Qing Merchant Association was really wealthy. But when he saw the hollow spirit state storage ring, he realized Ao Qilong's storage ring was just loose change in front of it. It had more than 50 million top-grade spirit stones. YMO estimated that this storage ring was like Qihang's. It contained the majority of the Yanhai Merchant Association's wealth. In addition to this, YMO found a level 7 fire dragon rune. This made YMO rejoice. Such a rune could kill nascent soul state primary stage cultivators and even defend against nascent soul state tertiary stage cultivators. It was very useful to YMO. The spirit herbs were also level 5 and level 6. After organizing these things, YMO started to eat the Heaven Glory pills to cultivate. He could feel the difference immediately between these ones and the ones he had made with spirit crystals. There was much more spirit energy, and none of it was volatile. It flowed like water. After eating this pill, it started unblocking his meridians and increasing his power. It wasn't as fast as the spirit crystal pills, but it didn't have any side effects. A month later, YMO had reached Golden Core State Level 6. He consolidated his power a little and heard someone had come to visit. He knew that it must be someone important, as he ordered that he wasn't to be disturbed during his solitary cultivation. An old man in his 60s sat in the guest reception room. Emo could feel a strong pressure as soon as he came in. The old man didn't even move. "You're Emo?" The old man saw Emo and asked plainly. His expression seemed a little disappointed. It was a hollow spirit state cultivator, but he seemed much stronger than the hollow spirit state from Yanghai Merchant Association. Emo felt this person was at least hollow spirit state tertiary stage, or even peak stage. "That's right, I'm Emo. What business does Qianbei have with me?" Emo asked slowly. The old man nodded and said, "You're the new pill concoction Hall of Fame #1, the pill master who created the spirit weaving pill by adding the spirit attraction grass into pill concoction?" Emo sat down and looked calmly at this old man and said, "It's me." The old man saw that Emo didn't seem worried at all and faced him, a hollow spirit state cultivator, calmly, and his disappointment retreated a little. "Not bad, you're so young, but you can think of using the spirit chi whirlpool to add the spirit attraction grass into pill to create the spirit weaving pill. This is very significant." The old man nodded and took out a herb and placed it in front of Emo. "Do you know what this spirit herb is?" "Level 7 spirit herb, spirit recovery vine?" Emo recognized it immediately. It was the main ingredient for the spirit recovery pill. It was also very hard to add it to a pill. Therefore, rarely anyone could concoct the spirit recovery pill. This vine was very precious. It was almost like a level 8 spirit herb. This person took this out, meaning that without question, he wanted to ask if Emo could concoct the spirit recovery pill. Before reading thing, Emo had thought that this was the main ingredient for the spirit recovery pill, but after reading it, he learned that the real ingredient was the 10,000-year stalagmite marrow, but it was too rare, so people replaced it with this vine. "Very well, you know a lot. If you use your unique technique, would you be able to add the spirit recovery vine into pill and concoct the spirit recovery pill?" the old man asked in joy. Chapter 1003, City Lord Visit. Chapter 1003, City Lord Visit. Emo took back his gaze and said calmly, "That's right, I can concoct the spirit recovery pill. But what does this have to do with Qianbei?" The old hollow spirit state cultivator was dazed. Clearly Emo called him Qianbei not because he was scared of him, or respected him, but only because his power level was higher. But the old man rejoiced immediately. He didn't get angry at all. He didn't expect this pill concoction Hall of Fame #1 to be really able to concoct the spirit recovery pill. This was too unexpected. Although it was said that only a level 3 pill king could concoct the spirit recovery pill, perhaps with his unique pill concoction means, Emo might succeed despite being only a level 1 pill king. Thinking about this, the hollow spirit state cultivator got up and said, "I'm Wan Yu Sek Su Jianhu. I came to Peihai City just to visit Pill Master Yi. Your fame is indeed true, you can really concoct the spirit recovery pill. Our sect leader wants to invite you to be a guest at Wan Yu Peak." Hearing this, Emo immediately understood what was going on. Wan Yu sect was the one of 2 8-star sects in North Far State. The sect leader Shanshur was said to be disaster transformation state power. The news they got was probably spread by Pu Yufeng. This Pu Yufeng really had some capability. If he succeeded in this pill concoction, then this spot of recommendation would be no problem at all. But this Pu Yufeng really thought highly of him. Not everyone could concoct the spirit recovery pill. It was after all a heaven grade level 3 pill. The heaven grade level 3 pill didn't mean that level 3 pill kings could concoct them. Sometimes, even level 7 pill king wouldn't be able to concoct them. The main reason was the scarcity of the spirit recovery vine. Seeing that Emo didn't say anything, Su Jianhu suddenly said, "I heard that Pill Master Yi wants to go develop in the South Peace State. If you can help Wan Yu sect concoct a spirit recovery pill, that spot won't be a problem." Emo saw that they brought it up first and realized that they must really be desperate for the spirit recovery pill. Pu Yufeng probably spread out the news that he wanted to go to the South Peace State. Emo nodded. "That's right, I want to go to the South Peace State. However, I don't just want one spot, I want 4 to 5. Su Jianhe heard this and his face changed. Without a second thought he said, "That's impossible. Even if the 3 disaster transformation state cultivators of North Far State give their recommendations together, they wouldn't have that many spots. Our sect leader has only gotten 1 spot over these 3 years. Plus, if just the recommendations weren't enough, the cost to activate the formation is insanely expensive." The activation cost? Yemo was just a level 5 formation Great Master, but he knew that the longer the distance, the greater the cost. The teleportation formation he set up for Peihai City cost 2 extreme grade spirit stones. From North Far State to South Peace State, Yemo believed it would require at least a level 9 formation. That was something only a formation grandmaster could build. But didn't they say that everyone needed to pay only 1 million spirit stones? As though knowing what Yemo was thinking, Su Jianhe sneered. Do you think 1 million spirit stones is enough for one trip? According to what I know, it costs 9 extreme grade spirit stones to teleport once from North Far State to South Peace State, plus 100 low grade crystals. 1 million top grade spirit stones? That's not even enough to pay for the use of one type of material. Yemo was shocked. He knew that teleportation formation needed spirit stones to provide spirit power, but he had never heard that there would be such materials used. If teleportation formations were like this, then how many materials would be wasted with all these teleportation formations in the cultivation realm? Yemo had only collected 5 extreme grade spirit stones up to this point. He had used 2 to set up the formation. As for spirit crystals, he only had the ones he found in the spirit marrow pond in the herb plain. Each teleportation cost 100 of those. And now Yemo realized there were also grades for spirit crystals. Even low-grade spirit crystals weren't so easy to find. You don't understand formations, so you don't know why. Su Jianhe sighed. If it was an ordinary formation, there wouldn't be so much waste, but the interstate distance is too far and it's a level 9 formation. The top cultivators of North Far State and South Peace State spent years to finish making it and used countless materials. This is the limit. After all, the best formation grandmasters in South Peace State are only level 9, Su Jianhe said. Yemo thought of the teleportation formation in the small world. It could teleport people to any location on Luoyu continent. How much materials and spirit stones would that use up? But no one in the small world would change spirit stones nor materials. The only explanation that remained was that it was of a much higher level than the teleportation formation here. What teleportation formation could teleport so many times and not use any spirit stones to activate? What power did it use? Yemo really couldn't comprehend what would be more precious than extreme-grade spirit stones, and what formation would be higher than level 9 formation. Perhaps he hadn't yet reached that level and that was why he didn't know. Yemo shook his head and stopped thinking about it, but one thing was for sure, it was already a huge gain that he could get 1 spot. But Yemo grew more suspicious of the teleportation formation. For them to pay such a cost to teleport some geniuses to South Peace State, there must be some hidden motive, but he didn't know what. He knew it was useless to ask Su Jianhe. There's only 1 spot to South Peace State, but if you have any other requests I can help you a little, Su Jianhe said again. Yemo knew that this was the best offer he could get. I'm going to South Peace State, but I'm worried about MOU. Many people aren't happy with MOU. I don't know if people will come looking for trouble after I leave. Yemo then looked at Su Jianhe. Su Jianhe heard this and laughed. This is an easy matter, I already know about your complications. I've sent people to warn the Yanhai Merchant Association, perhaps the people warning them have come back already. Then, Jin Shaoshan came in and informed Yemo that Yanhai Merchant Association had left Peihai City and compensated MOU with 100 million spirit stones. There was another piece of news: the city lord of Peihai Chiziu had come to visit. Yemo was speechless. This was dominance, the benefit of being powerful. While he was still worrying about the Yanhai Merchant Association, it was only a minor issue to Su Jianhu. But the 8-star sect indeed had the right to say such words. It was said that the city lord Chiziyu was already a hollow spirit state tertiary stage, but he was willing to lower himself by visiting MOU. Clearly, this was due to the 8-star sect. "Please come in and have a seat, City Lord Chi." Emo didn't go out to greet him. He didn't have a good impression of this Chi Ziyu, and only wanted to make sure not to offend him. He didn't help them at all when the Yanghai Merchant Association sent people to come oppress MOU. From this, he could tell that this city lord was no different than Zhag Chifeng at River State. Emo wasn't looking down on this type of person, but they just weren't worth connecting with. Chi Ziyu stood outside uneasily. He had just found out Emo was the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame number 1, and now Su Jianhu had come to visit him. If he had known this earlier, he would have tried to send people to connect with Emo even if Wanyu sect hadn't come to visit. Unfortunately, he didn't take note and missed the best opportunity. Chi Ziyu knew now was a bad time to come, but he had no choice. Chapter 1004 Arrangements Before Departure. Chapter 1004 Arrangements Before Departure. If he had tried to connect to MOU right at the start, it would have been really effective, but now it was just extra. With Wanyu sect as their support, who would dare to antagonize MOU? Emo saw Chi Ziyu and felt a sense of familiarity. He had cultivated a spirit sense cultivation method and felt this person's spirit sense seemed to have checked on him before. But in the end, this Chi Ziyu was a city lord and he was still in Peihai City. Emo got up and saluted with his fists. "Chi Qian Bei, Emo was very busy and was unable to pay city lord a visit. Your visit today greatly humbles me." But both Emo and Chi Ziyu knew that even if he had gone, he wouldn't get to see Chi Ziyu. Su Jianhu viewed Emo differently now. With Emo's astute mind, he thought Emo would subtly hint that Wanyu sect was supporting MOU now, but Emo didn't say anything at all. "Association leader Yi is indeed young and successful. You're so young but already the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame number 1. Chi Ziyu regrets for visiting late." Then, Chi Ziyu saluted with his fists to Su Jianhu and said, "You must be Elder Su of the 8-star sect Wanyu sect, greetings." "Haha," Su Jianhu greeted casually. He didn't need to be very polite to Chi Ziyu. If it wasn't on Emo's account, he wouldn't even see Chi Ziyu at all. So what if he was a hollow spirit state tertiary stage like himself? Peihai City was famous, but if Wanyu sect wanted to annihilate it, it would just be the wave of a hand. Emo didn't say anything afterwards. Su Jianhu saw this and could only say, "I came to ask Pill Master Yi for help. From now on, MOU's business will be Wanyu sect's business. MOU is in Peihai City, please help them out a little, City Lord Chi." "No problem, no problem." Chi Ziyu was waiting for these words. He immediately said to Emo, "Pill Master Yi, from now on, MOU's business is also Peihai City's business. If there's any problem, just come to me." Emo was also waiting for this. Only with both the Wanyu sect and Peihai City's support could rest easy and go to South Peace State. "In that case, thank you Elder Su and City Lord Chi. If I go to South Peace State, then please look after MOU a little." Emo got up and saluted with his fists. Hearing this, Chi Ziyu breathed a sigh of relief. He was also astonished that Emo actually had the right to go South Peace State. Clearly, the Wanyu sect leader was going to recommend him. He breathed easy because Emo didn't ask Su Jianhu to help attack Peihai City and instead asked him for help. Emo took out that stalagmite marrow wine and poured 3 cups. "This is the kettle that Li Rua wanted to rob." Chi Ziyu saw it and immediately recognized it. "Stalagmite marrow wine." Both Su Jianhu and Chi Ziyu said this at the same time. "You have 10,000-year stalagmite marrow wine?" "But don't worry, I still have 3 drops so I can concoct a cauldron of spirit recovery pills." Chi Ziyu immediately looked disappointed. He was planning to use other things to exchange for some stalagmite marrow, but now it was going to be used for pill concoction. Hearing this, Su Jianhu looked happy again, but he immediately thought of something and looked at Yemo awkwardly. That way, we will owe Pill Master Yi too much. Yemo thought to himself, I said this much just so you can owe me more. Yemo laughed and said, Elder Su, you're being too polite. After I leave Peihai, I still need Elder Su to help look after Mou. Su Jianhu finally understood what Yemo meant and patted his chest. Pill Master Yi, don't worry. My sect will arrange for a hollow spirit state elder to come here and protect Mou for a few decades. That's not necessary. If you could just look after Mou for 10 years, I would be very grateful. Yemo got up and said. Yemo believed that with his resources, Li Yuqian would be able to reach hollow spirit state in 10 years' time. Shi Ziyu also got up and said, Pill Master Yi, don't worry. Mou will be very safe in Peihai. With both sides promising this, Yemo finally felt assured. He took out another kettle and split the wine in half, giving one portion to each of the two cultivators. Both were immediately very grateful. Shi Ziyu not only got connected to Wanyu sect but acquired the wine as well, so he left happily. Meanwhile, Su Jianhu stayed behind to wait for Yemo's pill concoction. Chapter 1005, Skyrocketing Power. Chapter 1005, Skyrocketing Power. Yemo made 9 spirit recovery pills in one cauldron. Of course, he didn't use all 3 drops of 10,000-year stalagmite marrow. He didn't use the pills he had made before because he knew that hollow spirit state cultivators were very sensitive to pills. They could tell if the pill was made recently or some time ago. 3 spirit recovery pills? Su Jianhu's hands were shaking when he held the bottle Yemo gave him. He only needed 1 but he got 3. With his experience, he could tell these were freshly made as well. Yemo didn't mind giving a few extra pills to him. What he really cared about was whether Wanyu sect would do their best to help Mou. If he did this much and Wanyu sect still didn't help, then they would be too selfish. You're indeed a pill king. Su Jianhu looked at Yemo with even more shock. Such a young pill king, it was indeed the first time he had seen this. Even Qing Yejuan, who won first place many times, was only a level 1 pill king. However, Yemo could concoct the spirit recovery pill at such a young age. Was he a level 3 pill king? Yemo smiled. The spirit recovery pill is indeed a heaven-grade level 3 pill, but that's only because it needs 10,000-year stalagmite marrow. Even a level 1 pill king would be able to concoct it. He didn't say what level pill king he was. Even though Wanyu sect was forming a relationship with him, that was just because they needed him. Who knows what would happen if they knew he was level 3 or level 4 pill king. So that's it. Su Jianhu breathed easy. He thought Yemo was at most a level 1 pill king, and had a unique method of concoction. If Yemo was a level 3 pill king at such a young age, it would be too much to handle. Becoming a level 1 pill king at such an age was already very rare. Even if the Wanyu sect leader's wife wasn't injured, Yemo was worth establishing a connection with. Ever since the Yanhai Merchant Association incident, Mou was able to consolidate their position in Peihai. Some rather powerful solo cultivators came to join them and Mou's business started to expand. In addition, Mou and the City Lord Estate joined together to hold 2 auctions that even had the Spirit Weaving Pill and Blue Wind Pill. These pills shocked the entirety of Peihai, and Mou's name spread rapidly. But Yemo didn't let Mou get involved in coastal business. He didn't want to cause trouble with the Ao Chang Merchant Association. The Spirit Weaving Pill and Blue Wind Pill were enough for Mou to establish their Poisotin in Peihai. Only Yemo could concoct the Spirit Weaving Pill. Yemo didn't intend Mou to be the biggest merchant association in North Far State yet. If he had really wanted that, he wouldn't be selling the Spirit Weaving Pill and Blue Wind Pill. He would instead sell foundation establishment pills, cultivation increasing pills, and soul condensation pills. But Yemo knew that even in Peihai, if he hadn't reached a certain level of power, he shouldn't sell these pills openly. Even for the spirit recovery pill, Yemo had to create this influence by drawing out the 5 drops of 10,000-year stalagmite marrow. Otherwise, there would also be trouble. MOU was on the right track now. Song Yangzhu, Yi Ling, and the others didn't spend much time conducting business, they spent more time on cultivation. They knew that Yemo was going to South Peace State soon. Song Yangzhu didn't want Yemo to go, but she knew what Yemo was thinking. Things here were settled and Yemo was worried about Luoying and the others in South Peace State. If she wanted to go to South Peace State earlier, then she had to work hard to cultivate and reach Hollow Spirit State in a short time, and then it would be fine. Su Jingwen and Yi Ling also thought the same. Even Liu Qian and Jin Shaoshan thought like this. The South Peace State's cultivation resources were clearly much better than those of North Far State. With the support of Yemo, a level 4 Pill King, they would cultivate even faster. Su Jingwen wanted to sleep with Yemo after reaching Foundation Establishment State, but after learning that Yemo was going to South Peace State, she gave up on the thought. Her talent was astounding and her hidden spirit root had been activated. If she stayed a virgin, she would be cultivating even faster. She didn't know when Yemo would be back, so she had to reach Hollow Spirit State as quickly as possible so she could go to South Peace State and meet Yemo. Su Jingwen believed that with her talent, it wouldn't take long for her to reach Hollow Spirit State. MOU formed this cultivation trend. Everyone who had been in MOU from the beginning was cultivating like crazy. No one wanted to waste time. Yemo went into solitary cultivation again. He had to reach Golden Core State Peak Stage before going to South Peace State. Yemo just went into the Golden Page world and started to concoct Heaven Glory pills on the Spirit Range. Gradually, MOU made the Peihai region wealthier than the border region. Peihai City's population was increasing drastically due to the interstate teleportation formation. There was a level 8 spirit gathering formation on the side to support the operation of the teleportation formation. Even an 8-star sect might not have such a spirit gathering formation. Level 8 spirit gathering formations were beneficial to you even if you didn't go inside. Due to the rise of MOU, Peihai City became a lot more stable. MOU's prices were very fair and they never abused the weak. Half a year later, Yemo had completely spirit-refined 3 Heaven Glory pills and reached Golden Core State Level 9. Yemo thought he would be able to reach Golden Core State Peak Stage after 3 months. However, he underestimated his requirement for spirit chi. Even with such powerful pills and sitting on a spirit range, he still took half a year to go from Golden Core State Level 6 to Level 9. Yemo came out and found that other than Song Yangzhu who was waiting for him, Su Jingwen and Yi Ling were all in solitary cultivation. Liu Qian never even came out at all. "Are you leaving?" Song Yangzhu saw Yemo come out and looked a little sad. She didn't have much progress in cultivation and had only reached Golden Core State Level 2. Yemo nodded and said, "Come take a walk with me." Yemo and Song Yangzhu walked on the busy streets, but Song Yangzhu seemed to be in a bad mood. "Jin Wen and Yi Ling are both in solitary cultivation. Why didn't you do that as well?" Yemo broke the heavy atmosphere. Song Yangzhu said in a low voice, "I'm afraid if I went into solitary cultivation, I wouldn't be able to see you for the last time." Yemo remained silent for a few moments before saying assuringly, "Yangzhu, don't worry. I won't stay in South Peace State for too long before coming back to bring you all there. There's a lot of things North Far State doesn't have, but who's to say South Peace State doesn't have them? Perhaps one day, I will be able to find a flying ship that can even cross the Heartless Sea." Then Yemo said, "Peihai City won't be a place we will be staying at for long. This is a branch of ours but not our own city. Perhaps one day, we will have our own city, MOU City." Chapter 1006, The Figure in the Depths of His Mind. Chapter 1006, The Figure in the Depths of His Mind. "Yemo, I suddenly miss Luoyu City. When can we go back to visit?" Song Yangzhu asked. Yemo was leaving Peihai. Without Yemo she felt very hollow. Yemo grabbed Song Yangzhu's hand tightly. He suddenly realized what she meant. She wasn't missing Luoyu City but missing him. He didn't dare to mention Yemo. Sometimes Song Yangzhu looked very strong, but she was actually more brittle than Song Yangzhu or Yiling. Yangzhu, I promise you I will be back by your side soon and take all of you with me. When our power is very high, perhaps we can go back to Luoyu City. I miss it as well, Yemo said. Yemo said that, but he knew it would be very hard to go back to Luoyu City. So what if he reached truth realization state? A level 9 teleportation formation could only teleport the distance of the Heartless Sea. Yemo really suspected that the teleportation formation from Small World to Luoyu wasn't made by cultivators of the cultivation realm. Yiling was here, but she still had a brother Yizifeng. She never said anything about him, but Yemo could tell she missed him a lot but just didn't want to say it. At this moment, she even thought of Yunbing. How were they now? And Wen Dong, has she realized her goals? How was Su Ping? Would that Dong Fong Wang be doing anything? Huan Yinian should be able to stop him, right? Xingjing Xia, Han Zixing, Xiao Lei, Sister Yin, Yu Eru, Yu Miaodan, Shi Xiu. Countless familiar faces flashed across Yemo's eyes, and Yemo suddenly felt a little morose. After how many years would he be able to go back there? Would they still be there when he returned? Finally, an image cleared in his mind. It was Luo Xian. Yemo just realized that he hadn't been constantly thinking about her, but her figure had taken root in his mind. The girl who jumped off the 12th floor with him, perhaps it was the sentence that she said that made Yemo remember her. I just didn't want Brother Yi to be disappointed again. That's all? Perhaps I owe her. Yemo murmured. He had got the golden page world because of her. She gave him 2 of the 3 golden pages. She even hid them from her 2 sisters. When Luo Xian fell off Shuangshi Cliff, he went searching for her countless times but still couldn't find her. The golden page world's use for him was obvious. If it wasn't for it, he would have died so many times already. If it wasn't for the golden page world, he wouldn't have 3 birth chant, and wouldn't be able to reach where he was today. His achievements today were closely related to Luo Xian. Yet after all that, he couldn't even find her body. Yemo sighed and feel even more despondent. Sensing this, Song Yangzhu leaned against Yemo and held his arm, saying, Is there something you're worrying about? He was about to leave. Yemo opened his eyes and cast the depressing thoughts aside. He grabbed Song Yangzhu and said, Yangzhu, don't worry. I will come back as soon as I can to take you guys with me. Stay here and cultivate, don't worry about me. This was the 3rd time he had said this to Song Yangzhu. Yemo made up his mind that he was going to build a place that belonged to him so that his friends and family could gather together without the need to roam around. I believe you. Song Yangzhu wanted Yemo to be happy when he left. Yangzhu, I'm about to go. I'm not going to say goodbye to Jin Wen and the rest. Tell them that I will be back soon. Yemo wanted to see them before he left, but he knew farewells were hard. It would affect their mood if he said goodbye now while they were working hard to cultivate. Song Yangzhu nodded and said softly, Do you have enough spirit stones? MOU has a lot of spirit stones now, do you need to take some? Yemo shook his head. He had more than 100 million spirit stones. MOU only had about that amount as well, and this was due to the Yanhai Merchant Association's compensation. The two didn't talk anymore and just felt the warmth of each other's company. Although this was a very busy street, both of them felt the peace at the bottom of their hearts. Suddenly, some rustling disturbed their serenity. Yemo looked up and saw that 1 man and woman had been stopped by 3 Foundation Establishment State Tertiary Stage cultivators. The man and woman looked worried, not knowing how to deal with the situation. Yemo was shocked to find that he actually knew that woman. It was that Yu Yen he met in that town. She was a very calculative woman who had planned to use Yemo as a scapegoat, but Yemo didn't let her do so. It's you? Yemo. Yu Yen recognized Yemo and called out in joy, but then, she remembered the nature of their relationship. However, that desire to get help was still there. At Yemo's status, he wouldn't hold a grudge against her, but it was impossible for him to help her. Don't talk Yemo or MOU with me, I don't give a shit who he is. No matter who comes today, you have to spit out what you ate. The Foundation Establishment State Level 9 cultivator stared coldly at Yu Yen. Humph. Song Yangzhu wasn't happy that this Foundation Establishment State had attacked EMO. Such a temper. The Foundation Establishment State cultivator heard this and turned around, glaring coldly at EMO. But before he could finish what he was going to say, he was stopped by his friend. The friend pulled him to the side and bowed to Song Yangzhu. Wan Bei Zhu Chantian greets MOU's Song Qianbei. That Foundation Establishment State heard the words MOU, and his face changed. He thought of what he had just said, and his face went pale. You three are quite cocky. Who gave you the balls to start trouble and pay high? Piss off now or you will never need to leave again. Another cold voice sounded. Then, that voice bowed to EMO. Pei Hai City Lord Estate Wang Di Greet Association Leader Yi. The three heard Wang Di's words and their face turned as pale as corpse Sisi. No matter what they did, usually someone as big as Wang Di would never care, but today the manager Wang of Pei Hai City was intervening in such small matters. Just then, the three realized that the youth with Song Yangzhu was someone even manager Wang greeted with respect. No matter how dumb they were, they realized that this youth was the mysterious association leader of MOU. So it's Manager Wang, nice meeting you. EMO saluted with his fists. He didn't really like this Manager Wang, but he was leaving and MOU was still here. It was best not to offend the manager of Pei Hai City. It's an honor to see Association Leader Yi. How should I deal with these three? Wang Di knew that EMO didn't offend him due to him being the city manager, but it was very easy for EMO to kill him as he had the support of Wang Yu sect. EMO shook his head. He really wasn't interested in these people. Hurry up and piss off! Wang Di yelled before he said to Yu Yen. Girl, if you need any help just ask. He thought Yu Yen knew EMO, so sucking up to Yu Yen was sucking up to EMO. Yu Yen shook her head and walked up to EMO. Thanks for helping, sorry about before. Eventually, she didn't even know what she was saying and just turned to run. She didn't even call her friend. Manager Wang didn't know what was going on, so he didn't say anything. EMO wasn't going to care about her as well. He bid farewell to Manager Wang and took Song Yangzhu to the teleportation formation. Chapter 1007. Arrive at South Peace State but hard to get into black ice. Chapter 1007. Arrive at South Peace State but hard to get into black ice. Golden Core State level? You were recommended? EMO had just left the teleportation formation and was feeling a little dizzy when a voice asked these questions. EMO noticed that there were 5 cultivators in front of him, and each one seemed very powerful. Even the weakest of them was stronger than Hollow Spirit State. EMO could only tell that one was Body Condensation State Peak, the rest were beyond Body Condensation State. EMO took in a cold breath. This was South Peace State? Such dense spirit chi, such powerful cultivators. Yes, one Bei EMO greets Jian Bais. EMO felt he was weaker than an ant with this absolute difference in power. They only needed to lift a finger to kill him. No matter how powerful South Peace State was, they couldn't have this many high-level cultivators, right? He had just arrived and had already seen 4 guys above Body Condensation State. Spirit root seems very impure. How can someone like him be recommended? An old man looked at EMO and shook his head. What spirit root are you? Why were you recommended? Another cultivator asked just to confirm. He didn't even have the interest to test EMO. EMO realized that South Peace State wasn't a place where there was an abundance of Body Condensation State cultivators. These people were here to see if the arrival was a genius disciple that had been teleported here. If it was, then they might take him away. EMO didn't want to go to those sects and become a core disciple, so he immediately said respectfully, I have a fire and wood dual spirit root, but because I had a good relationship with the disaster transformation state Qianbei, I was able to get his recommendation. Indeed, it must be so. I knew that those North Far State disaster transformation state cultivators would use their authority for private needs. This one spot is going to waste how many spirit crystals and materials have been lost? The cultivator asking this was clearly not welcoming of Yemo's arrival. Brother Han, these situations are unavoidable. It's just one spot, plus the people sent over from North Far State before were pretty much all genius disciples. The youngest cultivator came out and said. Then he said to Yemo, "You can go. You have double spirit root, you have no right to enter a 9-star sect. North Far State is not the same as South Peace State. Although it's not easy to reach Golden Core State at your age, here your own. Yemo immediately saluted with his fists, and thanked them a few times before leaving. Qiliang Dao friend, how come I feel this little guy isn't quite what he seems? The cultivator who had spoken first said. What's wrong with him? Is it because he's at Golden Core State at this age? It happens a lot in North Far State. Many wealthy merchant association would cultivate a genius and use a lot of pills, but they don't consider the pill poison. I don't need to look to know that kid has too much pill poison in his body. He would be lucky to even reach Hollow Spirit State. Answered another cauldron-filling state cultivator. He's quick to run, I'm afraid he might not even get into Hollow Spirit State. Even if he doesn't have any pill poison, his spirit root has decided that he can't reach higher cultivation states. Another cultivator said. At this moment, Yemo was already thousands of kilometers away. He would definitely be one of the cultivators with the least pill poison. Even those cultivators who didn't concoct pills knew the threat of pill poison. They would try to refine pill poison or remedy pills every once in a while. He was a pill king, and he knew better than anyone. Not everyone had the 10,000-year stalagmite marrow, while he had at least half a bucket. Only after Yemo had left their spirit sense range did he dare to land. He found that this was also a cultivation city, but it was more than 10 times larger than Peihai City. Yemo asked a few cultivators and learned that although this place was in South Peace State, it was still hundreds of thousands of kilometers from South Peace City. This place was called Mohai City. It was surrounded by the sea but had a very large area. The teleportation formation from North Far State to South Peace State was built here. There were quite a lot of people in the city. Yemo found that there were quite a few Hollow Spirit State cultivators. As for those in the nascent Soul State and Golden Core State, they were everywhere. Reaching Golden Core State peak stage at Yemo's age was all too ordinary. Yemo walked into a shop and wanted to ask someone about the Black Ice sect when an attendant with a smiling face greeted him, saying, "Friend, what do you need?" The shop wasn't small and there were already a few Golden Core State and nascent Soul State cultivators window shopping. "I want to ask where the Black Ice sect is?" Yemo asked. "You want to ask about Black Ice sect?" The attendant was dazed. Everyone knew that Black Ice sect was at Black Ice Mountain. Was there a need to ask? Yemo saw this attendant's surprise and quickly explained. "It's like this. I have a friend there and I want to go visit him, but I've never been to Black Ice sect, so I'm just asking." "You still want to go to Black Ice sect?" The attendant was even more shocked. Haha. People started laughing and turned to look at Yemo as though he was much interesting than the objects inside the display glasses. "Did I hear right? You want to go to Black Ice sect to find your friend?" A Golden Core State tertiary stage cultivator asked in a strange tone. Yemo frowned. Why was it so funny? The attendant clearly had a good education and didn't scorn Yemo like everyone else. He said politely to Yemo, "Friend, Black Ice sect is 9-star sect. People aren't allowed to step foot within a 10,000-kilometer radius. Even if you know someone at Black Ice sect, they need to come find you. You can't go find them. Unless you have the handwritten document of the sect or a truth realization state Qianbei's item, you won't be able to go visit Black Ice Mountain." Yemo was dazed. He just realized how ridiculous his idea was. He thought he would be able to see Luoying as soon as he came to Black Ice sect. Now he found out he couldn't even get within 10,000 kilometers of her. Seeing Yemo in a daze, the waiter knew that Yemo wasn't here to buy anything and shook his head before turning to leave. Yemo quickly pulled him and asked, "Are all the 9-star sects this strict?" The waiter saw Yemo's desperate look and sighed. Not only 9-star sects but even the 7 and 8-star sects are also very strict. If you had arrived half a year earlier, you might have had a way. What way? Guillermo asked. The waiter said. There was a South Peace City cultivator social at South Peace City. Many core disciples of sects came there to converse about cultivation. Black Eye sect people went too. If you were lucky and met a Black Eye sect disciple who was easy to talk to, he might help you pass on a message. Guillermo thought and immediately took out 100 top-grade spirit stones and gave them to the waiter. May I ask when that social will be held next? The waiter quickly replied. Once every 3 years, the next one will be in 2.5 years, still here in South Peace City. Then, the waiter gave Guillermo a jade slip. I'll give you a map of South Peace State map, it has everything detailed. Guillermo took the map and murmured. I still need to wait 2.5 years? No, that won't do. The waiter shook his head and left. Chapter 1008, Way to Become Famous. Chapter 1008, Way to Become Famous. Guillermo didn't want to wait for 2.5 years. But what could he do to let Luoying know that he was here? South Peace State was so big that if she only stayed at Black Ice Mountain, how could she know about him? Guillermo looked at the map and decided to go to South Peace City first. That was the biggest cultivation city in South Peace State, and was also the place with the most up-to-date information. No matter what happened, the news would always reach there first. If he wanted to go to Black Ice Sect, he would have to go to South Peace City first. Guillermo walked around Emohai City and wasn't as clueless as he was when he first came. At least he knew that there was no way to fly directly from Emohai City to South Peace City. It wasn't allowed. As for the reason, Guillermo didn't need to ask to know. It was for money. There was a mutual agreement that to travel from South Peace City to Emohai City, one had to take the teleportation formation or the big commercial ship. The travel fare for both was very high. Even so, countless cultivators were going between South Peace City and Emohai City because this place was a bit like Peihai City and was close to the Heartless Sea. People came here to try to strike it rich or find cultivation resources. There were a lot of sects in the South Peace State, and there were countless sects below 6-star. It wasn't easy to join a 7-star sect. One needed to be very talented. This created a lot of solo cultivators who also need resources for cultivation. The place with the most cultivation resource was the Heartless Sea, so Emohai City became a place they had to visit. Guillermo walked around the city and knew that although the spirit chi here was very abundant, the cultivators here weren't wealthy. This was because pills and magic artifacts here were scarcely expensive. Most of the cultivators used their spirit stones to earn cultivation resources. Friend! A voice stopped him when he wanted to go take the teleportation formation to South Peace City. What is it? Guillermo looked at this cultivator with vigilance. This cultivator was also Golden Core State Peak Stage, but he was vigilant because this cultivator was also in the shop when he was asking that attendant questions. The Golden Core State cultivator saluted with his fists and said, Friend, you've probably seen me just then at that pill shop. Guillermo nodded but didn't say anything. The cultivator said with fervor, I heard you wanted to go to the Black Eye sect. Although it's a 9-star sect, it's not impossible to go there. Do you have a way? Guillermo asked. The cultivator smiled upon seeing Guillermo's reaction. That's right, I have a way, but I want to ask what power level your friend is. Guillermo hesitated and thought that with Luo Ying's talent, she should be in Golden Core State now. With this in mind, he said, Probably Golden Core State level. Then it's easy. If you're sure your friend is in Golden Core State, I have a way. If you don't mind, we can find a quiet place to talk. Fu Rong clapped his hand and said. Guillermo looked at his cultivator with confusion. This was the first time he was here, so this guy didn't know who he was. He didn't need to lie. Plus, even if this guy was lying, he wasn't afraid of a mere Golden Core State Peak Stage. Okay. Guillermo agreed. The cultivator showed a satisfied smile and said, Friend, please follow me. The cultivator took Emo twisting and turning before arriving at a small yard. This place only had a simple defense formation, but no spirit-gathering formation. It was just a temporary residence. Emo didn't go in and scan the area, discovering that there were 2 Golden Core State Level 9 cultivators. Before Emo said anything, the Golden Core State Peak Stage said, "There are already 2 friends inside, let's go talk together." Emo nodded and entered. That Golden Core State Peak Stage looked at Emo with a little surprise. He thought Emo would have some concerns, but he came in without saying anything. The 2 Golden Core State cultivators inside both got up upon seeing Emo. The Golden Core State Peak Stage smiled and said, "Let me introduce you. I'm Fu Rong and these are Qing Yuli and Jing Dao." Emo noticed that the shorter cultivator was called Qing Yuli and Jing Dao was a white-skinned, feminine man. "I'm Emo, a solo cultivator." Emo saluted with his fists. Then Emo looked at Fu Rong. He wasn't here to meet other Golden Core States, he was here to go to Black Eye Sect. Fu Rong knew Emo's intention and let them sit down first. Then he said to Emo, "Brother, you probably came from the seas, right? I chased after you for a while after seeing you ask for information." Emo had some extra vigilance. It seemed this Fu Rong had been following him for a while and pulled him over afterward. He was in such a rush asking people questions that he hadn't noticed Fu Rong following him. Thinking about this, Emo nodded. "Yes, I've been in cultivation, so I'm not familiar with a lot of things. I have a friend at Black Eye Sect. I've also just heard about this from other people." Fu Rong paused and looked at Emo before saying, "You probably know about the South Peace State trial tablets, right?" Emo nodded. "Yes, I know." Emo knew this from his experience at Desert Plain Herb Valley. Luckily he knew about this, otherwise people might think he wasn't even from South Peace State. Fu Rong expected this answer. Fu Rong smiled and said, "Any South Peace State cultivator would know about the South Peace State trial tablets. Almost all South Peace State Golden Core State cultivators have memorized the names on the Golden Core State trial tablets. They are constantly thinking about when their names will be inscribed on them too. Think about it, if your friend is Golden Core State level and you left your name on the trial tablets." Emo understood what Fu Rong meant. If he left his name on the trial tablet and Luoying saw, she would come to look for him for sure. If it was someone else, Emo would think this idea wasn't bad, but when it came to Luoying, Emo didn't have any confidence at all. Luoying wouldn't be as interested in the trial tablets as Fu Rong thought. But he could still try this method. Thinking about this, Emo felt a little embarrassed about his previous suspicions and saluted with his fists. "Thank you, Brother Fu. I'll go to South Peace City and leave my name on there now." The 3 looked at Emo in shock and asked uncertainly, "Did you think you can go leave your name there just by going there? Is it not like that?" Emo asked. The short cultivator who hadn't spoken now said, "Brother Yi, you probably don't know much about the trial tablets. They're in the trial tablet square, but there aren't a lot of people going there to try each year. The main reason is that each tablet can only fit 300 names. Many people who tried saw that their names wouldn't show at all. That's because they're not strong enough. So if you can't be among the top 300 cultivators in your level, then you can't." Chapter 1009, 1 Core Kills 2. Chapter 1009, 1 Core Kills 2. Although he knew what they meant, Emo still saluted with his fists. "Thank you, Brother Chun, but I still want to try. If not, then I'll think of another way." The white-skinned cultivator suddenly sneered. "Do you know what it means to be among the top 300 in all of the Golden Core State cultivators in South Peace State? There are countless Golden Core State cultivators in South Peace State, but only those few people can leave their names on there. What right do you have to say you can leave your name on there? This isn't even arrogance anymore." Fu Rong saw this and quickly came to ease the tension. "Brother Yi, Dao friend Jing is a straightforward person, don't mind him. But that trial tablet really is hard to get on. If you go there you will know. Each time someone tries to write their name, there are a lot of people watching. If your name goes up, you will become famous no matter what rank you are, but if your name can't even get on there, you will just be a joke. Some people lose faith in themselves due to this and never progress one bit again. Emo smiled and didn't answer Fu Rong's words. He asked, "Since Brother Fu knows how hard it is to get on, then why did you bring me here?" Fu Rong smiled. "Other people don't have a way to get up there, but I do." Emo sneered. "Then in that case, you must be an elite on the trial tablet?" Fu Rong now displayed an awkward look. "I don't have the ability to go up." Emo sneered. "You don't have a way to go up, but you have a way for me to go up. That's ridiculous." Fu Rong quickly said, "Brother Yi, don't doubt me because I only can make you go up for a month. Do you know about the Tanhua pill?" Emo shook his head. Fu Rong quickly continued. 30 years ago, there were two Golden Core State cultivators who were very good friends. Both were solo cultivators. One day, they went to explore the ruins of a cultivation home left behind by a Qianbei and found a Chao Huan pill there. Both of them were at the Golden Core State peak stage, and it was important for both of them. However, there was just one pill. Emo knew he could get into the trial tablet without any problem, but he still wanted to know the ending of the story. "Then how did they divide it?" Qin Yuging asked. Fu Rong said, "Both were good friends and wanted to give the Chao Huan pill to the other, but both of them didn't want it. This news became known by another cultivator. This cultivator was a female cultivator and also Golden Core State level. She knew the two as well. When the three were talking together and the topic was brought to the Chao Huan pill, the female cultivator said she had a good way to solve the problem. The two asked her what the way was. The female cultivator said to leave it to the person with the better talent. She suggested for the two to leave their names on the trial tablet. Whoever was ranked higher would have the pill. Both of them were unable to leave their names on the tablet, but she got close to one of the guys. Soon, she became pregnant. At one point, the woman told her man that when they left this world their child would be unable to survive in this harsh cultivation realm. She told the man that one of them had to stay behind to look after their child. She told her man many times to ask his friend for the Chao Huan pill to give to their child. But they already had made an arrangement. The woman ushered the man to go try. If it didn't work, then never mind. Did he go try? Qin Yuging asked. Fu Rong nodded and said, "Yes, that female cultivator took the man to the trial grounds. When the man was about to try, the female cultivator suddenly took out a pill and gave it to the man, saying that the pill could increase his power a little. The man didn't mind and ate it." Yemo interrupted. "That pill was the Tanhua pill, right? If I'm not wrong, the man ate it and left his name on the tablet." Fu Rong sighed and nodded. Yes, after the man ate it, he felt his power had increased by more than a level, and he left his name on the tablet. But as soon as he left his name, the power he had just gained disappeared. Eating the pill can indeed burst your cultivation essence and spirit sense, increasing them by more than one-fold in a short time. It was a happy ending. The man left his name on the tablet, and the Chao Huan pill belonged to him. Qin Yugin clapped. Fu Rong shook his head. "You're right, he got the pill and his friend was happy too. But his name disappeared after a month. When his friend saw this, he was shocked and thought something happened to the man. He quickly came to find the man but found that he was fine. He asked what happened. Qin Yuging asked, "Did he tell the truth?" Fu Rong shook his head. No, he felt guilty that he had left his name by eating the pill and said he didn't know what happened. The friend asked around and found out that his friend had eaten a pill that amplified his power to leave his name behind. His friend was very disappointed. He didn't care about losing a Chao Huan pill, but he cared about losing his best friend. After this, he became depressed and died due to a mistake in his cultivation. The man heard of this and also became depressed. He left all his belongings to the woman and committed suicide. The news of Tanhuan pill spread out and everyone tried it. It had no side effect, but it had a very limited time of use. Everyone fell silent. Two very good friends had died due to this misunderstanding. What a pity. If you want to leave your name on the Golden Core State trial tablet, then the Tan Hua pill is the best option. It's only for 1 month, but that's enough for you. 1 month's time is enough for your name to spread all over South Peace State. I believe your friend would know you were here after seeing your name. Emo didn't need this at all, of course. He was certain he could get into the top 300. But Emo felt this story wasn't as simple as it seemed. He asked, "What about that female cultivator?" Fu Rong sighed. After the man died, the female cultivator was also very sad. She cried for a whole day next to her man before burying his friend with him. After that, there was no more news of her. She probably left alone. Emo sneered. He believed many people could see the problem like him. The woman knew the two friends well and knew of their characters. Since she knew this, she shouldn't have used the Tan Hua pill. Also, her dual cultivation with the man was too perfectly timed. If his guess was right, this woman's schemes were too scary. Seeing that Emo didn't ask about the Tan Hua pill, Fu Rong could only say, "Only the level 8 spirit pill master Feng Honest in South Peace City can concoct this pill. Feng Honest, as his name suggests, is very honest, but the only bad habit he has is that you must have the beast core of a level 5 9-foot sea snake for him to concoct pills for you. Last time I ventured into the deep sea, I found an island with a stealth formation. There was a defense formation around it. I couldn't break it myself, so I want to find a few friends to go with me. 4 Golden Core State level 9 cultivators should be enough. We make 4, if brother you wants to go. You can have a share of the things inside, and I will help brother you find the 9-foot sea snake and get the beast core for you." Emo smiled. He wasn't interested in going out to the sea nor eating the Tan Hua pill. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.